What's up to all our sidekicks and henchmen out there in the Geek Nation? I am Johnny Destructo. With me this week is Noel, and with me this week is Len. You're watching the Gutter Talk podcast. We're going to be drunk and talking about comic books. Specifically, we're going to do a book club on DAYTRIPPER. Was it a Vertigo book?
No. Yes.
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 All right,
yes.
great. And we're going to talk about, I thought we were going to talk about WandaVision. We're all caught up on WandaVision. I thought we were going to talk about Superman and Lois. Turns out Len was like, nah.
Hold up. There's a couple things. So first of all, I'm glad we're doing this because there's a script, but who cares?
I was ready to go. You saw me though. I was ready to go, and JD just bounced right back in and just started hosting. So I was like,
it was like a muscle. It was amazing. We do so. This is the first of our monthly.
yes.
Gutter Talk evening. Have a drink with us specials. There are some. We thought that maybe it'd be cool to holiday theme them. And there's a couple of things that happened in February that are notable. Everyone's favorite holiday, President's Day. Everyone's second favorite holiday, Valentine's Day. And our personal favorite holiday, JD's birthday. So all the segments of the show are comic and pop culture related, but we're all kind of filter into those buckets.
Yes.
Cool? Yes. All right, so
Most
Len, it's your
definitely.
turn. We've all introduced the show now, except for you. Sorry. So Len, it's your turn.
Yeah, if you could tell us what's going on right now.
I got something for you, JD.
You got something for me? Do
I
I see
do.
Jeff Kanata?
I do.
All right.
Oh, wait,
Cool.
hang on. Hold on. Everything, or I guess you could say that our feelings
Here we go. No,
best
why
summed
don't you just let it?
in the form of a limerick.
Ah.
Go ahead.
Hey JD, it's Jeff Canada from the Slash Filmcast here with a very special message from Noel, Len, and Brian. And I guess you could say this message is best summed up in the form of a limerick. Having kids gives you humility. You need Spider-Man's agility. As well it should, because with fatherhood comes great responsibility.
Ah!
Yay! Hey, happy birthday, and more importantly, happy fatherhood. This is a special gift to celebrate your first episode back as a new dad, Kai Parker. What a great name. So happy for you. As a dad myself of 2 kids, I know there's nothing like it. It's gonna wear you out. It's gonna test you. It's gonna push you to your limits. But like the man said, Stan the man said, with great power comes great responsibility. And I know as a huge Spider-Man fan, that will land on you. And I know you are up to the task. It's going to be intense. And I'm sure you've already experienced it. Welcome back. Your friends are so pleased to have you back and so excited because they said that you are the thing that holds them together. That's amazing. That you have a huge heart, that you love art and Spider-Man, and that the Cult Pop podcast would not be the same without you, hasn't been the same without you, and they are so pleased to have you. So, best wishes to you. I think the ride ahead is going to be one that is exciting. You're seeing your kid grow and change and turn into a little person. It's amazing. My 4-year-old and my 2-year-old both have so much personality at this point. Being able to have conversations with them and talk about all the things we love, that they're sparking their imaginations and that they're excited about as well. And by all accounts, you have a big heart and are a great person. So I have no doubt that it's going to bring a lot of joy and reward to your life. So it sounds like we're kindred spirits. Best wishes. Thank you for supporting me and the things that I put out into the world. I love that this is a limerick back and forth that has happened now a couple of times. So it makes me very honored to be a part of the friendship that you all have. Best wishes. Happy birthday. Take care.
Ah! That is so cool. The guy, for anyone who doesn't know, the guys on the podcast have always sort of teased me about my I can't call it a bromance. It's not a bromance because it's unrequited, right? So like,
I mean, we're 2 steps closer.
Yeah.
To being requited now.
It's second date. I mean,
pretty soon, Jeff Canada is going to come to us for cameos for his people.
That's right.
So yeah, Jeff Canada is like my favorite podcaster. I've been listening to him for probably over a decade, ever since the Totally Rad Show. And the baby,
baby.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
The baby.
He is like, I am not ready to broadcast.
oh,
The baby.
Just keep him there. It's fine.
Hi.
Hi. He's such a little nugget. Ooh. He's mostly just poops right now. That's my dude. So yes. So yeah, Jeff Canada is one of my favorite podcasters. I've been listening to him forever, and I had gotten Noel one of his limericks from the Slash Filmcast, and read it at his wedding rehearsal because I officiated his wedding. And so now the favor has been returned. That was wonderful. Who was that? That was from Len.
that was from all of us.
It was all of us.
Oh,
That was all of us.
Yeah, he said all our names. Brian's not here. But yeah, he said all our names.
Thanks,
Brian's,
guys. That was wonderful.
Yeah.
Brian
I was.
can't join
It
us,
was.
yeah.
Yeah, Brian couldn't join us tonight because his girlfriend's birthday was the same day, and she. Oh, it's not a twist cap.
Ouch.
Sorry. I don't think any of them are. You might have to stand up and go.
Did he literally pick up another one thinking, oh, maybe I could twist this one?
Just go get a bottle opener. Go get a bottle opener. Use the edge of the desk like a man. Ugh.
No, you did, you bitch. You fucking bitch. You just would have got a can.
It's a cider.
Man, look.
That was supposed to be. So for GD's
I got a
birthday,
picture of Long Island iced tea.
Look, nice. As a gift to JD, I like curated some drinks for him, some like beers and drinks. The thing he just opened was supposed to be what you drink while the buzz is happening, not to start with. Because
No, you didn't give me directions.
It's the lightest thing. I should have. I have to put a map together. Like I'll get a little QR code.
gotta
to
got a
give you
roadmap.
directions on what order to
a
drink
roadmap to inebriation? Like, come on,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
But anyway,
I'll be back.
And now he's leaving.
I was gonna cheers him, but forget it. We'll do it without him.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, JD. You'll hear this in the edit. I'm drinking Sour Monkey, which is a 9% Belgian sour.
Yes, it is pretty good. I've had that before. Very,
And that's
very
what he was supposed to. Oh, nice.
So the sour monkey.
Yeah, but you open drink the Sour Monkey.
There you go.
Yay!
Now we're back for the cheers. Yeah, cheers. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So no, we can only do the Jeff Canada trick like twice. We're gonna have to put it in our back pocket for a while.
But that was awesome. Thanks, guys.
Hey, man, it's just for you.
Maybe we'll get David Chen next time.
All right, so
that's so cute. Yeah, kisses.
So we're here to talk. We're gonna have a book club as we.
Look at
said earlier.
JD, you're back.
I'm back.
Sorry.
My kid is screaming. He's so excited.
Oh, did I?
Is it because he could hear Len?
Yes.
No, it's
Screaming him.
no, it's not. I actually thought that. I did actually think that. I was like, oh wait a minute, there's no echo. He couldn't hear me. All right, cool. I don't want to be the guy that wastes the baby. I don't want to do that.
So I just left the shop. We were having dinner. I dropped my bottle, my water bottle on the way out, and it was so loud. I just like immediately stopped and turned around. Like, is the baby okay?
That's what you do. That's what you do, man. For real. For real. It's real talk. Oh my God, I'm so happy for you, man. That's love,
Thank you.
though.
He's wonderful. I love him. He's real hungry right now. Why don't you just feed him before you leave? Never mind. I love you. Bye. I'll see you later. All right,
Don't-
mwah.
Stop Stop micro mothering.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So
Let
yeah,
her be her.
we had a baby. He's 2 weeks old. His name is Kai Parker Holden. He is the newest co-host of the Cult Pop podcast.
Mm-hmm.
He's the newest sidekick in Henchfolk.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're here to talk about, what is it called? DAYTRIPPER.
Oh yeah, that's one of the things we're going to talk about. DAYTRIPPER.
We got segments.
I don't see the thing. So you guys go ahead. I didn't realize that the intro was already written. So go ahead.
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't really.
It wasn't really. I mean, who gives a fuck? Anyway, it's we do this thing. We do this. Going to talk as a celebration of holidays, and in February, as Noel put it out, there were two holidays that we were going to focus on. The first one is that there was President's Day in the month of February, which got me to thinking about all the great fictitious presidents that we have had in the pop genre. Now, the first one that came to my mind was, of course, Tiny Lister from from The Fifth Element. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but that's my president.
That's good.
What I appreciated the most about that performance, or just like Tiny Lister in that movie, he walks out as the president, and in the context of the movie, you almost expect this to all kind of be a joke.
Exactly,
But
right?
His character is so dead serious and straight. It's like, all right. I mean, I'm not going to question that man. Absolutely. It's so wild.
Also,
I know,
what a
I
wonderful movie. I love The Fifth Element.
The Fifth Element.
I have not visited it in a while, to be honest.
It holds up. It holds
Yeah.
up. Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's
It definitely
so
holds
weird.
up.
It has to hold up. Like, it has no baseline. The movie is just crazy weird.
It is crazy, but you know what? It is crazy, yet it doesn't feel dated. Like because I watched what's that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie? When he goes to Mars.
Total Recall?
Total Recall. Total Recall is dated as fuck. It is dated as a motherfucker, man. I mean, you still kind of get into it a little bit, but it's dated. You realize in the light of day how cheesy Arnold Schwarzenegger is in everything that he does. That special effects, which wowed you back in the day, are weak. It really is dated, but The Fifth Element holds up for jokes. It holds up for the acting. It holds up for the special effects. The story is not overly convoluted, so you can still follow it. Fifth Element holds up, man.
So,
Crazy.
So I presume, I know he's probably not, but I presume JD's quickly looking up a list of fictional presidents. Oh, you are? Oh, yeah. Hey.
Oh, there's a ton of
I'll-
lists out there.
I'll vamp while he's figuring his answer out. So there was a couple that came to my head immediately, and I've just got like two cool ones. The first one is President Whitmore in Independence Day.
Oh, is that?
Bill
yeah.
Pullman.
Because that's Bill Pullman. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I will admit, in high school in theater class, they asked us to like, hey, bring a monologue and perform it, and everyone was choosing like monologues actually from plays and scripture and literature and stuff. I brought the script of Independence Day, and I did the whole speech with the
big
bullhorn
speech
at the end.
Yeah.
It's the cheesiest, dumbest, stupidest movie, but for some reason it's just like, of course my president's a fighter pilot. Of course my president is non-traditionally handsome. Of course he saves the day.
Of course.
Like it's problematic in like a American elitist kind of way. Like, my president can punch out your president. However, I love it. I love every second of it.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't make that movie today, is what I'm trying to say. You couldn't make that movie today without rolling your eyes so goddamn hard that you
don't
could
think
hear
so?
it in this. I don't think so. No, I think it would be completely different. Actually, they tried to. It was called Independence Day Resurgence, and it was awful.
True. Okay, true.
It
Very
was
true.
essentially beat for beat the same movie, and it was awful. So it's just like time and a place. The other one was Dave Kovic from
Dave,
the
right?
Rob Reiner. Yep, the movie Dave.
Yeah.
Which is Robert Klein? Kevin Kline.
Kevin Kline.
So incredibly good. Like, that was one of the first movies I saw as a youngin' that made me like, oh, politics.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah.
And I love I love that during the course of the movie, if anybody's never seen Dave, the president dies of a heart attack, and they try and keep it secret by just hiring a lookalike actor to fill in while they fake his real death in kind of like a
Well,
more
he didn't die. He
traditional
slipped
way.
into a coma. He
That's
slipped
right.
into a coma.
having an affair.
Right.
So
right.
they got the actor to come in and save face. But then this actor starts to kind of learn how to do the job and does it arguably better. And then
starts macking the first lady, Susan Sarandon. I mean, not Susan Sarandon.
Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver. Yeah.
Yeah, he starts learning like the joys of basic civics, and it's like almost like a heartfelt lesson about how how great politics could be in an altruistic world. That's a wonderful feel-good movie, but it's just, again, it probably wouldn't happen today.
But you know what? That movie, I confuse that movie sometimes, and I love it. I do love that movie. But sometimes I confuse that with The American President with Michael Douglas.
Yes.
And Annette Bening, which is more of a romantic comedy, but the president is kind of like cool, nice guy type of guy, like as well. The American President, for those who don't see it, Michael Douglas plays a widowed president who gets a girlfriend while he's in office, who's the lobbyist, played by Annette Bening. And that's the movie that made me fall in love with Annette Bening. I was like, oh my gosh, she's fucking adorable. And I totally believe Michael Douglas as the president. And I totally believe Martin Sheen as his chief of staff, so that when Martin Sheen then gets cast as the president in The West Wing, I'm like, well, yeah, it was the next step. It's logical. I'm with it.
That was his political career. He started as chief of staff, eventually ran for president. And
Yeah.
I was actually going to say the West Wing president, but I'm actually going to go with James Marshall.
Oh, my man, Harrison Ford.
Get off my plane.
Air Force One.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
He's
the man.
Yeah, that's my good one. So yeah, there we go.
He's a great one. He's a great one. But, and I love my Tiny Lister. I love Morgan Freeman, who's played the president almost as many times as he's played God. Like there's been more than a few presidents, right? I love Peter Sellers in Dr. Strangelove.
Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb.
Love it.
There's no fighting in here. This is a war room.
Gentlemen, this is the war room. There's no fighting in here.
I love that. But I will, and Randy, the Super Troll, is going to love this. I will stake a claim that the best fictional president is, in fact, Lex Luthor as president, primarily when he becomes president in Superman Red Son.
Hang on. I accept your Lex Luthor, and I raise you, Val Zod, President Superman from Earth, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, shit.
No. Better than Lex? No.
I mean,
I think you sound like Emperor Palpatine. No.
He's I'm melting. It wasn't Palpatine anymore. That was the Wicked Witch of the East.
No. Lex Luthor in Red Son fixes everything. He cures cancer. He tightens up the budget. Like, he is the dude. He actually retires I think it's in a comic, but it definitely is in a movie. He retires at the end of the joint and gives it to Jimmy Olsen. Now that I straightened everything out, you can take over, bruh. Me and Lois, and he gets Lois. And he got Lois. Yo, he is the best president.
This at all.
Yeah. Lex Luthor, Red Son. Boss president.
I haven't read that. I haven't read him forever.
I watched the movie, which apparently is very different.
I haven't even watched the movie. I've never. I have the book. I read it forever ago.
It definitely is a little different, but it's not that much different, to be honest. But it's good. It's good.
Take a sip.
Oh, is it a drinking game, or are you just taking a sip?
Oh!
Take a sip.
Oh! Y'all want to do a drinking game? Let's do a
I
drinking
was gonna say, do you want to institute rules?
Okay.
As in, like, okay, so, how about, okay, whenever
Every minute it's my birthday, drink.
Well, I was gonna make them harder than that. Like every time that Len high pitches, drink.
Oh, nice.
See that technically that's one. That's one right there. And he did it, or like yeah, that's the thing.
What would mine be? What's my tick? Do I have a tick?
I a lot, but that's too hard to control.
Everyone ums a lot.
What's your tick, JD?
Let's not call it a tick. It's maybe not negative. It's just a thing.
Maybe every time you mention the baby.
He's so cute. I love my baby.
Shit. All right.
All right.
It's a marathon and a race. It's a race to the finish, and the finish is long. Oh, far away.
Well, I want to take a second to say hi to everyone chiming in. Max, what's up? Mars Comics, Randy Green. What about Kai's birthday? Kai's birthday. He's 2 weeks old. Everyone said beautiful baby. They love the present that you guys got me, the Jeff Kanata cameo. It was awesome. Thank you so much.
He's
Max says
mentioning the
down
baby.
east is the shit. Down east being the cider, one of the ciders that Noel got me. I'm already feeling this. This fucking. You guys, anybody who hasn't had Sour Monkey, if you want to get ripped real quick.
Dude, it's like, what is it, like 9% or some shit?
It's 9.5, I believe.
It's meant to rip.
It goes down so smooth.
And
Not
2814 says, President David Palmer from 24, that brother was always cool.
David Heisberg, yes. Yeah.
I stopped watching 24 as soon as they assassinated him in the first episode of like season 4.
I
was like,
stopped
we're done.
24 after season 1.
It was. I mean, it was a stupid show. It was great.
I never watched 24. I just got the updates from my friend Calvin, who fell in love with 24 and would just race to tell me about every episode. So I never had to watch it.
So you had your own personal recap, literally
Yes, I did.
every Tuesday.
Before there were blogs, I had Calvin.
I don't know. Like, how do you guys feel about? So most of the content, it's easy in movies and TV and stuff to have fake presidents or fictional presidents and stuff.
Yeah.
But in comic books, the stories usually have to be evergreen. However, there are some times where they actually make the fictional president within the world like president currently.
Dark Knight Returns.
Who's got? I was going to say Dark Knight Returns with Ronald Reagan.
Well, I
during
was
the Ultimates, they were doing Obama.
Yeah,
but like, do you?
I was going to go. I actually kind of prefer when they are a little ambiguous with it because it does date the comic book, except when, the Justice Society, because they're always set in World War II, they can get away with throwing out Churchill and FDR and stuff like that. So, who cares? But like Superman, they got into big trouble, not big trouble, but with Superman, I think ran across JFK in one of his comic books, and it wasn't long either. I think it was like right before he got assassinated and stuff. And it was like a story that they already like immediately had to disavow, So I like when they play ambiguous with it. That's the only reason they got away with in Captain America when he became nomad and all that type of stuff. He was mad what was happening in the country, but he really was mad at Nixon, but they never mentioned Nixon. They just said it was corruption going on in the country. You know what I mean? So that's the way you get away. But I don't care.
Action Figure Expert actually does make a really good point. What about Abraham Lincoln, the Vampire Hunter?
Oh, it's true.
It's a dumb movie. It's a very dumb. It's a very
stupid book and a dumber movie.
I saw it in the theater and I remember none of it.
I remember some of it.
You're lucky.
Anthony Drago, longtime friend of the show. What is this? What is going on? A Saturday night show? So yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, every Sunday at 10:30
Let's start over.
a.m. Yeah, what's up to all our sidekicks and henchmen? Every Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. we do the spoiler alert comic book review show, but once a month we decide, fuck that. We're going to get together on a Saturday night and we're going to have some drinks and we're going to hang out just with, just for shits and giggles. We're going to do a little bit of a book club later with.
That's a drink. That's technically high pitched.
Oh, that is high pitched. With DAYTRIPPER.
Take your drink.
But then it's also my birthday, Anthony Drago, so
aggressive.
we decided to hang out.
That's right.
And talk about dumb shit. We had a bunch of stuff that we were going to talk about, like Superman and Lois, and everyone being caught up on WandaVision. But then Len was like, I'm not gonna catch up on either of those things. Fuck y'all.
Hang on. You guys don't know. You guys don't understand. I'm gonna power through those segments because, first of all, the Superman and Lois segment is going to turn into
talking about couples.
Fictional couples. However, it's also going to be your and my opportunity, JD, to convince Len to watch a CW show. Still.
Nice.
Because it was no spoilers, but it was really quite delightful. Like it was a really, really good show.
It was.
Whoa.
It didn't have any of the trappings that one might negatively equate with a CW show. There are a lot of those trappings I actually quite enjoy from CW shows. The sort of like the very comic bookiness and the very silliness of it. This doesn't actually have any of those things.
Yeah, we can.
Superman and
we
Lois.
will. Hang on, we'll litigate it during the segment. But yes, it's a wonderful show. It's so good to the point where we started my wife and I started watching it, and we were too tired. And so we stopped it and we're like, we'll pick it up later. She reminded me the next day, can we please finish Superman and Lois? It's really, really good. I was like, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Like,
Sam
we'll talk.
We'll talk about it. Somebody who was that? Joel Bradshaw said, "What about Arnold Schwarzenegger as the president in the Simpsons movie? I'm elected to lead, not to read." Okay, that's kind of cool. But I will see your Arnold Schwarzenegger as president in the Simpsons movie, and I will give you Lisa Simpson in the Simpsons. It's a grown Lisa is the president who becomes president after Donald Trump. And has to straighten out the country. So there you go.
Yeah, there's been so many Simpsons episodes that they do they just meme themselves now. So like Donald Trump was president, and then I think it was Kamala Harris actually wore like a bluish purple suit and with pearls, and immediately there was memes of Lisa Simpson on her first day in office was literally wearing the same kind of suit. Yeah.
I think my favorite, I'm going to change my answer. My favorite fictional president was Donald Trump.
Oh, if only it were so, though.
Well, I mean, it was a game to him. So I guess we could probably just assume it was all fake.
Action Figure Expert has posted, happy birthday, JD. Actually, JB. Thank you, Action Figure Expert. You have a beautiful singing voice, and I appreciate the happy birthday song. That's wonderful. What's next on the docket? Who's got I don't have access to the thing.
I sang happy birthday to you. You didn't tell me I had a beautiful singing voice.
But that doesn't count.
Oh,
it's true.
I could pull up the script. I didn't have it.
Pull up the script.
Fuck the script. All right, so let's go to
the only reason why I wanted is because I actually have the real description of DAYTRIPPER that I think we should read like a legit review.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, we need to get to DAYTRIPPER before we get too
drunk.
Yeah,
too drunk. Because we need to DAYTRIPPER, ladies and gentlemen, is the comic book that we are the graphic novel that we are doing for book club tonight. So this is the only piece of real serious conversation that we're going to have. And we're going to have serious conversation because we are indeed reviewing this comic book, and this comic book deserves serious consideration. This book by Fabio Moon and Gabriel Ba, twin brothers, is mysterious, magical, moving story about life itself, a hauntingly lyrical journey that uses the quiet moments to ask the big questions. This comic book may be one of the best movies I've ever seen. That is how good this comic book is. I I was the one who selected this comic book for us to read, and it was because I bought it years ago. I bought this trade in 2015. I read it. I fell in love with it, and I hadn't read it again. And when we needed a book to read, I said, "Oh, this is a perfect time for me to pull out DAYTRIPPER again." So I pulled it out and do this book. Just I keep calling it a movie because that's how much it pulled me. That's how much I felt the story. How much I found myself immersed in the world that this book creates. It reads like a poem. It's just so fucking beautiful, heart-wrenching, loving, funny. It made me laugh. It made me cry. It made me sad. It's, oh my God, it's all the things. It's all the fucking things.
Are we going deep in spoilers? Because I do feel like
no.
full conversation.
No,
Okay.
let's do our quick. Len. Len is that? If he wants to do another one,
No.
Len, then Noel, then me about our basic view of the basic thoughts of the book. We're not going to spoil it, but then we will spend a little bit of time talking about it a little bit more in depth, and then we'll get back to the shenanigans. How about that?
But we won't spoil it as much as we can. Right.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, because I kind of wanted to talk about how it does wrap up in a very poetic way.
Yeah.
I would like to spoil the ending, but if you guys don't want to, then that's fine. I've had this book on my shelf for a very, very long time. I read the first 3 issues in issues. I actually still have issue 1, 2, and 3 in a long box, and I loved it, but I never finished it. It's just 10 issues, but I never finished it. And reading it monthly, as story structure, the main character dies every issue. It's a different period in his life, a different age, and he passes, and an obituary is written. So you know that there's a kind of a magical realism, at least way the story's being told, when your main character dies every single issue, and then the next issue he's alive, and it's a different version of Brass.
Right.
Halfway through, I started to kind of lose any real. And it was minor. I started to lose grasp of the stakes of the story. Okay, this is a wonderful slice of life, but I know he's going to die. Oh, and this is a new wonderful slice of life, and I know he's going to die. So I started to almost, just like by a hair, detach myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Same. He's going to die. It's fine. He's going to die. But then towards the second half of the book, when threads start to connect a little bit more, and then all of it is kind of revealed as to what this whole exercise was, it just smacked me in the face. And it's funny too, because it was never boring to read. It was always very poetic. Mm-hmm. It's the art is just ridiculous. The page layouts are ridiculous. The storytelling is just incredibly engrossing. It's 10, it's more like 8 short stories that just have some of the same characters, completely different stories, just some of the same characters. And then by the end of it, it just kind of it smacks you in the face in a really, really good way, and makes all of that kind of detachment from before almost make sense, like it was intended. So I loved it, absolutely loved it. But I've had it on my shelf forever, and I just finally read it because you guys insisted. Glad I did.
This is one of those books that I've heard about for many, many years, and everyone keeps telling me is how great it is, and I just never really got around to it. I never really knew what it was about, and so. The first issue was a bit shocking, and the second issue is even more shocking. And I go, what the hell is going on with this book? And then eventually, of course, you grasp onto it, and this is just the way it's going to be. And I feel the same way about, I think that Noel did, which is in the middle. There's a bit of a lull in that I feel no real stakes are at play here, because we know he's going to die at the end of every episode, and I kind of wonder how it's going to play out, how the death is going to play out. And so it wasn't until a very specific point at the end of the book that I actually got really emotional and choked up, to be honest, with a letter that he receives. Yeah. Especially because of my last 2 weeks.
I was wondering how this was going to hit you now, being a new father.
Right. Oh, it hit me. It hit me. Oh, boy. So, yeah, man. But, besides the fact that it sort of peaks and valleys, and I think it's a little inconsistent, overall, as an experience, I'm going to revisit it now that I know what the end game is. Where we wind up at the end. I'm definitely going to sit and I think appreciate the small moments more, because that is exactly what this book is about.
Yep.
I was sort of a little bit more concerned with the end of every episode and how we're going to wind up with the sort of shtick of killing him off every episode, every issue. But it really is, the whole point of doing that is so that you appreciate the things that happen in between, the little moments. And they even talk about this at the very end. He references the fact that this book is really brought about to celebrate the tiny, seemingly unimportant moments in one's life. And that your life is forfeit at any given moment. Even just walking home from doing this podcast to see my wife and son, something terrible could happen. I could be dead. And that's sort of the impetus of, I think, what propels
You mentioned the baby
this series. What?
Oh yeah, you
mentioned
mentioned the
baby.
baby. Shit.
Hey, I'm playing.
You're trying to say something very earnest, but you did mention the child, so we all have to take a drink.
Oh, sorry.
No, so I will. There are layers to this, and it kind of has to do with spoiler that I'll fight around. The profession of Brass and his father, just like the lineage. His father is a famous writer. He is a writer in every version of his life that we kind of see. He's a writer, most explicitly an obituary writer. But then in some he publishes his book, in others he doesn't have a chance to publish his book or even get to it because he dies at a certain age. But the concept and story structure that, trying not to spoil it, obituaries have a very, very large part of this book, not only in a thematic way of telling you how each version of Brass died, the importance of the written word and certain types of writers, but then also there's a real plot reason why he's why obituaries are important.
Yeah,
that have to do with like the book's twist, and it makes me question what in the book was real, what was assumed, what was dream, what was reality. It all works in every version, but it all might not be each one, if that makes sense.
That's sort of the strength of the book, is that it doesn't matter. Whatever the answer of your question is, does not matter.
So as a writer, or that sounds super pretentious when you say like as a writer, somebody that it's weird to say.
Yet as a writer, go ahead.
Yeah. As a trained writer, the way that it's kind of looped in a empathetic way, whether you're writing something like an obituary or just an op-ed, the way that you have to empathize with this stranger or a character in order to correctly translate what is needed to be translated or say what they want to say. Like you do live as another person in order to get the story out. There's a part of that that's in the story, but then also the creators are doing that actively as a part of the story. There's metatextual levels to this book that I didn't realize until towards the very end, and I'm like, fuck.
Well, that's the beautiful part about this. That's the beautiful part about the book. Like you said, it ties the bow without, but but the bow is still slightly loose because because everything is still open to your own interpretation, right? And I love the way that how it wraps up in saying that the story of your life are going to be these moments that you don't really 100% understand, until the story is done, until it is over. You know what I mean? And even then you might still be questioning it, but that's all the more reason to just embrace those small moments. And there's so many just so beautifully illustrated moments in this comic book. Hal 2014 puts out here about how much he loved DAYTRIPPER because the book came out around the same time that his father died. And it was so good that he was afraid to read it since his mom and son had died, and it was a great series. He also points out that his father died in the same hospital that his son was born, which is what happened to Braz in his movie, because to how 2814, his mom told him that his grandfather was dying from cancer in the same hospital as he was born. And I feel for him, especially in regards to having your parent pass away. And just being reminded of the way this book hit me. When my father passed away, it was, and I can't remember the exact chronology, it was right around the time that Tim Burton's Big Fish came out, which that movie, which deals a lot with a son's relationship with his father. And I went to see that movie, and I think my father was like he was like on his way out, more or less, when I saw that movie. And I bawled like a fucking baby, man. I bawled like a goddamn baby. And I love the movie. I thought it was a great movie, but I bawled like a baby because how much it resonated with me. And I went on to buy that film. I still own that film. Have never watched that film again. I can't, because it'll just bring me back too much to that moment. However, this book comes out 2015. My father died 2004. This is well after my father passed away, and well after I had lived and reconciled and looked forward to visiting my father every day. A lot of times when I go to sleep, me and my dad go fishing in my dreams, and we have conversations about things and reconcile about stuff. And this book brought me back to my father's passing, my relationship with my father, my relationship with my father now. It made me think about moments in my life, how blessed and truly blessed I am. I will tell anybody in the world that the person I am is because of my mom, my dad, my siblings, my friends, and every single woman that, for whatever God bless her reason, gave me an opportunity to spend some time with them. That is who made me who I am right now. This book celebrates all of that. Braz celebrates his friendship with his friend Jorge. You know, that's me and my boy Calvin. He celebrates meeting someone in a bakery. In a bakery, he meets the love of his life after his first hot and passionate love. I've been there too. And it's and the way that everything is told is so beautiful, that the world building in here is so subtle and yet so specific with the colors and the layouts and everything. I feel like I'm rambling, and I'm sorry, but that is just how much this book really does mean to me. This is an amazing fucking accomplishment, man. Amazing. And let me say this real quick, because this is how the fuck I felt when I read this book. When I say I cried about this book, I cried about this book for two reasons. One, this man lives his life. He finds the woman that he loves, and you, in one way or another, watch him, that the evolution of his life, but also the evolution of his relationship with her. And I think it's beautifully told in the subtle and slow and specific ways that it's done. And in reading this book, there's a moment where he is with his wife of many years. They're older. They're watching their kids leave their home. And for some reason in my head, I thought about two things. One, I'm not with anyone right now. So I don't have that. Right now, it doesn't look like I will have that opportunity to be standing hand in hand with somebody watching, my child walk away. And my child is married and is living her life and everything like that. And then two, in reading this, I honestly flash forward to JD and Shushan. And watching, and all of a sudden, that was JD and Sushan holding hands, watching their son walk away.
Oh yeah.
And I thought that was just and it honestly was just an indication of, you know, my feelings about their relationship, having watched them two, having talked to JD, and under having an understanding about his feelings about his wife. It also, in a way, and this is honestly no bullshit, is it in a way is different. It's different than fuck. JD and Sushan, and I think it's different for me because I knew Sushan to a degree before I met JD, honestly.
Long time.
Yeah. And like to find that out they were together, I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, get out of here. But then it works. It somehow fucking works. You know what I mean? And especially because JD is so thoughtful and meditative and sweet and cute and fucking care bear of a guy, and Sushan is like, you know, she's pretty, she's gorgeous, but she's about her shit. You know what I mean? And like they fucking work. You know what I mean? And it's just magical. And watching that scene, I told you this is a fucking movie, this comic book. Reading that story brought the JD and Sushan to my mind, and I honestly just cried a little bit because I was very happy that you do have that. You know what I mean? I think in my eyes, Noel has a kind of like that, but in Noel and Sam, I see this embodiment of two best friends that came together. You know what I mean? And in you and Sushan, I see just two people who came together. And it doesn't mean that either relationship is lesser than the other. It's just a different, you know, building block. That's all. I'm shutting up now.
Well, also,
I'm in my
too,
feelings.
like no, I kind of feel you. Like, so our this is just I'm echoing for some reason. I'm sorry. So our friend group, I hold incredibly dear, especially this past year. So it transformed in an incredibly and viscerally positive way with the birth of Kai. So I know that it really is only affecting JD and Sushan, but no, I mean, I will die for that child for some reason. I don't know. Like he's just so cool. I don't like, so I've worked in many office buildings and stuff, and people will leave, like good friends will leave and have children and come back, and like they'll come and visit with the kid, and you can hear the cacophony of like moving oohs and ahs as the baby is like strolled through the office.
Yeah,
and I usually was just like, cool, it's a kid. You've seen him. Like it's not your kid. Just relax. But this one is just like, what's he doing? How is he? Hi. Hey.
So
there's just something more visceral.
Yeah. Noel and Sam had come over for a very brief, sadly brief, socially distanced birthday dinner just now, before the show tonight, just now, at between 7 and 8 o'clock. They came over. We ordered some Chinese food, some sushi. We hung out. They brought me some presents. It was very lovely. The baby was here in his little bassinet, and he was sound asleep. He had his hands up like this, and he was just sound asleep. And I noticed Noel, every single time the baby made any kind of peep, Noel was like, what's that kid doing?
What does he need?
You all right?
What's happening? Is everything okay?
What can I get you?
Do you
want a beer? What can I get you?
Yeah. What do you need? What?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Do you need money? Okay. Like, what's up?
So yeah, it was so funny. He looked over as quickly as I did. His father. We both went. You cool? You cool? All right, you cool.
And
all right.
Look, I'm an uncle twice over, and with those little ones, that's the closest thing that I had felt before, where it's just like, this child needs to survive, no matter what. Like you've got that kind of like, ugh. So yeah, just like that muscle hadn't been flexed in like 8 years because they're like my nephews are older, so it was just like, is everything okay? Yeah, and also too, it's the first child in my friend group or just that's close to me that's been born since I got married. So I'm a much more emotional human being than I used to be. as like new life events happen, which, to bring it back, which is essentially what this book is about.
Yes.
When new life events happen, and like whether you're age 11 or 76, because this book like runs the gamut, you don't get softer. You become more aware and sentimental of what you're aware of. Like the main character is never, he's never flippant and he's never overly sentimental, but he is always like in the moment. And depending on where he is in his life, that moment hits harder or soft or less with him. Yeah. And it's really fascinating to go through. It's just a good book.
I think the thing that broke my heart the most about this book, and I we can move on to spoilers, I think. So maybe just a very brief spoiler section. So everyone be aware if you haven't read DAYTRIPPER. Just a very brief spoiler section. The thing that really struck me and has stuck with me the most, besides the letter at the end, which is about fatherhood, the best friend.
Yeah, Jorge.
And Jorge, when he goes back, the love that man has in his, you can just feel it, right? It like the love for humanity that this man has emanating from within him, and where he ends up is so heartbreaking. And I wish we spent a little bit more time with it, and maybe a little bit more explanation of how he went from A to B. It broke my heart a lot, and maybe it sounds like Noel has something to say about it.
I don't think that was real. So my interpretation of the book, especially the second to last chapter, there are pictures in front of him of all the obituaries that he has to write. And if you look at those pictures, they align with every other chapter of the book. So the entire book to me is him putting himself in the deceased's, like, recognize or being empathetic and one with the deceased in order to appropriately write the obituary.
Sure.
So 8 of the 10 chapters are his name, his friends. He like applies his life into the situation where this person died. So when it was a small kid, he imagined him at that age, what he was doing in order to appropriately write the obituary. So his friend killing him, the only way that he could appropriately write that obituary for someone else was to imagine the heartbreak of Jorge doing it to him. So like he didn't to me.
Because I don't know, just the way the whole story, each one of the segments of the story pans out, is that most of the things within I would say the beginning to middle of each segment have happened to him. The only thing that does not happen to him is the death. But I'm talking about the deterioration of that character and where he winds up. Maybe not, and that's the other thing, is that we don't get any closure with that character. We get the murder that happens in the segment, right? And that's how the character dies in that particular segment. But there's nothing in the next segment to say, okay, well, this is what really happened to that character afterwards. Maybe it's just that he killed himself.
So what I'm saying is that all of the things, every time that he would put himself in someone else's situation, his memories came with. So his at whatever age it was, no matter what age, like he took himself and his age. That's what he applied to the deceased. Everything else was his own kind of situation, so he could kind of see himself there. So if it had to do with the best friend was Jorge. If it had to do with a girlfriend or the wife or a father or a parent or like, he would always apply his world into the way that this person died in order to appropriately write the obituary. So Jorge himself didn't necessarily go crazy and accidentally and murder him and then kill himself because stuff. It was just, that's how he was able to capture the weight of that death, by putting himself and his best friend there. And the only reason why I think that is because the second to last issue, he is with his editor talking about so good at this and doing this, and all of these have to be done. And the pictures themselves on his desk was an 11-year-old boy, a black man with dreadlocks, an old man. Like, those were the other chapters of the book.
Okay, then I will say that my one negative for this book is I would have liked to have seen the reality of what happened to that best friend, because we do see so many conversations and so many loving moments between these two men as they explore the world together, that I would have liked a little bit, just like a little nugget of like, okay, well, here's where the best friend wound up. I'm sorry, Len, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm not sure if I 100% agree with your read, Noel, only because, and now this kind of dips into spoiler a little bit, little baby spoiler.
All spoilers.
Is that
now,
if
right?
I remember that the second and last story is the one, because like every story is a chapter, and every chapter is his age in the story. So he's 11 in one chapter, he's 76 in one chapter, he's 38, he's 33. And that second to last story, if I remember, that chapter heading, the title is Dream. Yeah. And I have a funny feeling that and that second to last story is the one where the art style switches up a little bit in there. So I interpreted that second to last one is us in his dreams, and in some way in incorporating all of everything that everything else that you said. I just read that more as a part of his dream. Yeah, I do agree with you in regards to how he wrote the obituaries and all of the chapters before, but that's what and I also kind of believe that Jorge, I kind of feel like the closing of his story, unfortunately, JD, is that he did die. Now, whether or not he killed himself or was killed, I'm not 100% sure of. But I think his love of humanity, as you say, I think it was just his love of of life, trying to experience life to its fullest, is what, unfortunately, for whatever reason, led him down to the road that he went on. It's powerful stuff, and as much as I might have liked, the same with you, JD, if I'm nitpicking, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little tighter, not on the bow of that story. Yeah, I'm fine with the ambiguity of it as well. So
there's certainly a tragedy to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. So the page I was referring to is 207 in my volume. I don't know if on the digital file it's the same, but it's in issue 9. So issue 1 through 8 are the obits.
Right.
9, like you'd mentioned, is the 9 and 10 break the paradigm of the story. Mm-hmm. So 9 really is a dream. The whole issue is a dream state of
right.
This is your life now.
Because the dog talks in that one.
You have spent too much time in other people's lives, living other people's lives, thinking of all the dreams that you were gonna have.
Right.
This is your life now, and that's the issue where he finds out he's dying. Right. Issue 10 is the only issue of this whole series that is solely in the physical now.
Right.
In the physical space of now.
The one when he's 76.
Not him imagining himself somewhere else, not him presupposing or putting himself in someone else's shoes, not a dream. The 10th issue is the only one that is physical, the actual world of this book.
I will also say this to both of your criticism about the book maybe lagging for a split second in the middle a bit. I think it didn't lag for me. I was fine with it, but I can understand if that being somebody's read. Especially considering that the conceit of the story, in this world where we're used to 4-part, 6-part stories, the conceit of this story going on for about 6 or 7 chapters, you kind of can be like, okay, dog, can we? What's next? What's next?
It wasn't like a lag, because it was still interesting to read. It was more like, I know he's gonna die at the end.
Right.
The story itself almost loses a little bit of that dramatic tension, because that the main character, however or whenever, is going to die. Like that was the paradigm of, that was the structure of the book. The paradigm of the book is keeps dying. So after a while, which was around 6 or 7 issues, it's like, all right, why does he keep dying? Just now I need, like, there was a just a little bit too long of wondering. It's like, okay, come on. Why? If this was coming out, if I was reading this in issues, I'd probably let them stack up.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have had the patience to keep reading a character dying over and over again.
Yeah.
How 2814. My goodness. I had to write the obituaries for my dad and years later for my son. Hardest things I ever done. Why Day Tripper hits me so hard, but I loved it. Boy.
I cannot imagine.
I'm sorry.
Fuck.
Yeah, man. That is the one parent. That is the one job no parent is supposed to have. Not, burying your child. So I feel for you, Hal.
Yeah, this is a piece of fiction that could that very intimately deals with love and loss of family members, regardless of age or reason or if you recently have gone through any kind of loss, this is probably not the best read right now.
True. But
it might be the most fulfilling read.
I was going to say, I wonder about the catharsis of reading something like this while
you got to be ready.
Loss and I just wonder.
You just got to be ready.
Help. Yeah, you got to. But to that point, one of the other things I was thinking about this when I was reading this is that, this is one of those comic books that I honestly feel that if you met someone who it's like, well, so what's the big deal about comic books? And especially because a lot of people, when they think that they come into comic books, what's the big deal about Superman, Batman, Captain America, Spider-Man? That's immediately what they're thinking, right? And they don't. And when you try and tell them, like, no, there's some beautiful stuff in comic books. There's some literature in comic books. They're like, and that's when they give you the stink eye, and they're like, yeah, okay, all right, the geek saying there's literature. This is a comic book you could give to somebody to read because it's a comic first and foremost. So it is a comic. You're giving them a comic book. It's not a lot of words. It's not dense dialogue. It's not the pacing is not over the top. You can follow it. It's big, beautiful illustrations. So it's not otherworldly, even though it's slightly dreamy. It's probably no more dreamy than the most sophisticated novels that you have.
This takes advantage of the forum or the format more than a lot of other comics do. Like if it was a movie, it wouldn't work. It's a very cinematic book, but if it was a movie, it wouldn't necessarily work. If it was a novel, it wouldn't have the same kind of impact because visually,
you don't get the visual.
They as you're going and seeing these other lives, you're actually noticing faces. You're recognizing faces and how they're reapplied or applied or featured. But yeah, this is a book that would go to anybody with, regardless of preconceived notions about. Sam has brought me another beer.
Good woman.
Thank you. I love you so much. She brought me 2. Regardless of what your preconceived notions as how comics should work or are, this book transcends that. It's just a very, very good one. I will likely gift this to family members who are unaware. But as a nerd, just like format nerd, I have the absolute. And if you're into this book, I would highly suggest getting it because there is like an extra 70 something pages of process and
sketches and stuff. Yeah.
The Gabriel Ba and Fabio Moon have a very they're similar-ish style. So their styles kind of meld well together. Like I'm not exactly sure where one starts and one ends until you see their sketches. Their character sketches and their character designs, but then also like layouts and stuff that are in here. And then, their handwritten notes on each sketch and stuff are in here and the documents. Their styles are so incredibly different, but so incredibly similar at the same time that they are kind of, thank you, Hal, that they're, the fact that they're twins is just so much more fascinating that they can be so similar, but then also so different. this book on every level is just. Ugh,
But
so
isn't
good.
It's neat.
isn't it on
They both
issue
have-
9 that they go back and forth on the art?
Yeah.
Right. That's what I thought. Yeah.
I would say they are different in that one of them looks a lot like it takes heavily from sort of the artistic style of Mike Mignola, while the other one looks very reminiscent of Greg Thompson of Blankets and Habibi fame.
No. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. I see that.
Hydrate.
But
Yeah, so like these much more detailed sketches are Gabriel.
Yeah, they're older.
But then the kind of Mignola-esque stuff is more Fabio. Like
Right.
Wait.
these layout sketches.
I thought Gabriel Ba was
Gabriel-
the guy who did. You
Gabriel's
got it
just-
backwards.
Yeah, Gabriel is
so
the
I'm
more
backward?
sketchy one. Yeah.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. Ba is Umbrella Academy.
Right.
And that's the more Mignola-esque.
There you go.
Yeah, so like
That's
That's Fabio.
Moon. Fabio Moon. But they're both great. They're both gorgeous.
Oh.
And I think they both work in conjunction to make this just a piece of artwork. This is wonderful. I have to be honest. Through most of this book, I went, all right, this is lovely. This is great. I'm pleasantly enjoying this, but I'm not sure why so many people have recommended it to me until I get to the last 2 issues, and then I go, oh, okay, here we are.
Yeah. And as cappers, it just makes everything else feel so much more rewarding. You know.
Yes.
So it's well done. It's just beautiful. Some beautiful.
I think
beautiful
all of
things.
us, we would highly recommend this to anyone, whether or not you're a longtime reader of comic books or you are new to the medium. I think everyone has something to gain from reading this. I think this is just a wonderful little, beautiful piece of comic book work.
Most definitely.
absolutely. Yeah. I'm glad that we visited this. Thank you.
Same. Yeah. Whose idea was this?
Len.
Thank you, Len. We owe you one, buddy. This was awesome.
Oh yeah. I guess that would be like how does it fall in line with the theme? A little bit of love, a little bit of Valentine's Day, a little bit of fatherhood, a little bit of birthday. It's all in there.
Yeah. Well, fatherhood, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, because there's a beautiful scene in this when I think young Bros and older Bros, and then meets his father by the tree. Fuck.
Also,
Wait, does that count as mentioning a child? Should we drink to that?
Sure.
How it works for me.
Hal 2814, thank you for sharing that with us. That is heartbreaking and horrible, and our hearts.
Yeah.
I would speak for everyone here. All of our hearts go out to you for having to have that loss in your life, and we're sorry to hear it, buddy.
Yeah, and if we could provide an avenue to either share and or distract in a healthy way, thank you. Yeah, we're here.
One love, Trouble.
What's next on the docket? Do we have anything?
Well, I'm glad you asked it.
And you know what? Y'all can talk about WandaVision if y'all
Oh,
want.
we're gonna fuck you.
So,
You're not on the train.
Are you going to talk about WandaVision or are you going to fuck me?
Hold on.
I mean, I just want to be prepared.
That's a different stream. That's on his OnlyFans. We're not going to talk about that right now.
Speaking of which, quick, tiny little sidebar.
no.
My friend Grace has an OnlyFans, and I thought, because I used to support her on Patreon, right? And my friend Grace has an OnlyFans now, and I said, I'm going to sign up for OnlyFans. I'm going to support my friend Grace. I signed up for OnlyFans. I said, I'm going to give you, because it's like $20 a month. I was like, I'm going to give you the $20. That's all I can really afford. I'm a new dad. Time to drink.
Oh,
And what happened this week was I woke up on Sunday morning, last Sunday, and my bank had been like, hey, dog, it's your bank here.
Did you mean to give $20 to this
No.
OnlyFans?
oh, it's
No, they
worse.
said, did you mean to do 15 different transactions of varying prices, even up into $50 where you tip bitches for shaking their butts on OnlyFans? It wasn't me. So, tip bitches. So why did I say that? It's so not me.
I mean,
it wasn't me. It was the bank.
the crassness of the bank.
The
Yeah,
bank
I don't
was
know
just-
why the-
was just
Ameri-
tipping bitches.
Also, American banks are not sex positive, so
It's
that
true.
tracks.
American Heritage Federal Credit Union, for some reason, likes to text tips bitches. Someone had gotten into my account and was like tipping women $50. So that was kind of neat.
Whoa! So somebody through OnlyFans got into your account.
Yep.
and tipped their favorite performers.
Well,
with
they
his-
subscribed my account to different people that he liked, or they, maybe she, I don't know, whatever. And most of them were thick ladies with two C's, thick with two C's, ladies, engaging in a lot of rump shaking, a lot of booty jiggles, and then two of them had jiggled their booties to such an extent that he felt compelled to tip them $50 on my credit card.
On your credit card.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which makes me feel even worse because that means I had to like call and say that all of these were fraudulent. But then these poor women who got $50 tips, I feel like the dickhead for being like, "Ooh,
Wait,
sorry."
I mean, that's not how it works. I think.
Oh, isn't it?
They keep the money. Like the transaction that's made is made.
Oh.
You are insured with the bank for them to cover those transactions.
Oh, great. Oh, good. Way to
Yeah,
enjoy
I
it,
think
girls.
They keep their money. Yeah.
Because they shook them real good.
I mean, they deserve those tips.
What,
It just wasn't you giving
did you
them.
have to see evidence to make sure that it
I
wasn't?
had to make sure.
Can you tell me explicitly?
The only
Which
way to
only
verify credit fraud is with your pants down.
So in history of segues, this is going to be an awful one. But before we get into the rest of the themes, I was incredibly, ridiculously excited about some like pop culture news that
Yes.
came out yesterday. And I know it's a little like it dates the show a little bit, but fuck it, I don't care. They announced that Ta-Nehisi Coates and J.J. Abrams were writing and developing the new Superman movie, whatever the next one's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just over the moon because I currently read all of Ta-Nehisi Coates' comics, and they're straight up phenomenal to me. I love his Captain America and the way that he's been able to very explicitly take his style and voice, but apply it to a American icon is so incredibly fascinating that it's just like, yes, take over Superman, please. Like, do something with this iconography, because we've got filmmakers or storytellers that, want to put Superman in like Jesus Christ poses, but have absolutely no intention of telling a story that approaches messianic or cultural. Whereas somebody like Coates, who actually is educated and knows how to tell a story with layers.
You said he's actually educated.
I'm so excited for the possibilities. Oh, fuck Zack Snyder. I'm so excited for the possibilities. So excited. And then
I'm excited about it too. I'm excited about it too. Yeah.
I'm over the fucking moon. And like, I don't care about J.J. Abrams. Yeah, great. He could produce everything under the sun. I don't really care. When they attach a strong writer like that, I'm just like, yes.
Yeah.
The next popular news is going to be whoever directs it. Please be somebody that wants to work in conjunction with the writer instead of just take over.
Well, I thought I read somewhere that there was some intimation that they might bring in a black Superman for this, which doesn't mean that the Superman of the movie is going to be black.
Yeah, you know what? Yes, I saw the same thing with the new movie potentially introducing a black Superman. Now, two things. One, introducing does not mean SJWs are taking away your Clark Kent, so chill the fuck out.
Exactly.
And two, that has history. Like that's literally in the comics. That has precedent. So formatting the announcement or question as to what this means in the perspective of like, how would you do that? Why would you do that? It's like, no, it has precedent. It's in the comics. Relax. Everything's fine.
Yeah. Also,
who cares?
Fuck you. He's an alien. He's literally an entirely alien species from an entirely different planet. Fuck you.
So look, I still have lizard brain because we all do. When that was announced, when it was first announced, I was excited to see a Clark Kent story that's X, Y, and Z. And the very first image of Clark Kent is a white guy in my head because that's every single form, right? So I read that. I was super excited. Then I read the other thing of potentially introducing a black Superman. I was like, oh, I won't get that Clark Kent story. But it lasted for a millisecond because then it was like, oh, but it might be something new. So it's like, I get the impulse of like, oh, but I was really expecting something. I get the impulse of like being slightly disappointed. But that doesn't mean that it's going to be garbage and they're stealing your childhood. So just chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
And he could still be he could still be an alien.
Exactly.
And that alien could still look like a black baby, and he could still be the Clark Kent story. So
exactly. It's all about like the first impulse of applying every other type of every other version of it that's ever happened. It's that first impulse of like, oh, but I thought Clark Kent was white. It doesn't have to be. That's the whole point. It doesn't matter.
Someone in a group that I belong in, a Facebook group for omnibuses and what have you. I don't want to call them out by name, but they said, I'm not interested in the reboot if J.J. Abrams and Ta-Nehisi Coates are behind it. But if the most interesting thing you can do with a character is to do a race swap, then you are creatively bankrupt. To which I responded, he's an alien, but also it seems if you keep things exactly the same for almost a century, then you are creatively bankrupt. Dude has been white since 1938.
Also, I mean, creatively bankrupt means that has he already read and seen the movie?
Exactly.
He has no idea what the fuck it's about.
Yeah.
right,
Like, fucking relax.
right.
That's you can boil my thoughts down about comic books to I think basically just I have read them for so long that I welcome change. Any change that they make is something that if it's something I haven't read before, then I'm excited to read it. I don't look at anything before I have read it and go, "Oh, I hate that." Because it's different. If I haven't read it before, then my brain goes, "Oh, that's a story I haven't read. That sounds cool."
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's that basic for me, honestly.
Yeah, we're all getting this dates. We're all old. We're all getting to or well past the age of just we enjoy our comics and our silly stories, but I mean, I welcome new, different, readjusted, remixed, remade. Just do it all, like
Right, because the older you get, you realize that a lot of these stories, especially in the superhero world, and mind you, this is because of they got to keep the trains on the tracks. A lot of the stories they're retreads of stories that's done before. The different writers, some they window dress them a little differently. Better writers can come up with something wholly original or take something that has been done before and tweak it or look or tilt the lens of it enough so that it feels different. It examines things from a different point of view. But at the end of the day, you've seen a lot of these stories before. You continue reading them because you enjoy the characters. That's great. But that's why comic books are literature, and that's why, like literature, as you grow up, you're supposed to grow up with your literature, which means that the literature that you read is supposed to expand. So if you are calling yourself a comic book reader and all you are fucking doing is reading Iron Man and Superman and Batman and Captain of fuck America, and that's all the comic books that you are doing, then you are the one that are creatively and culturally bankrupt because you didn't take this what you love and expand into other things.
Hold on. No. I'm gonna add an addendum to that because it's not just that they're only reading Captain America and Iron Man and Superman. It's the fact that they have this weird nostalgic version of these characters. That is only from 1985, and it can't be different, or it's placating garbage. Because Captain America and Iron Man and Superman have introduced many different versions of the character or the mantle over the years in a way that does include so many other types of characters and so many other types of faces. But these people are so ingrained in their stupid version of what the truth is, or what the right version of stuff is, even though they have no way of. There's no they have no say whatsoever of it. That they don't see outside that, because Captain America is a perfect example of changing like 4 times in the last 20 years,
Right?
And it's, well, that's not my Captain America. Like, no, it is, because it's right there. You see it, like that's Captain America, and if you want one, that's the one. That's the one you get.
But the thing that takes me out is that, just like you said, like it's stuck in their head, the 1985 Captain America, or maybe the 1995 Captain America. There seems to be like this window of about 10, 15, 20 years of people who that was their sweet spot in comics. Those are the ones who seem to not be able to get past it, because people from my generation whose comic books were the 70s and 80s, we're fine. Most of the people that I talk to from in my generation, they're fine. They roll with the punches like that. People, but it's that generation, like after, for some reason, those are the ones that just are like total dickheads about this. Not all of them.
No, it's my generation. I'll take it. It's mine. It's my generation. There's a weird sense of ownership over intellectual properties that my generation has like pushed forward with. Like, we were the children of the 80s and 90s that claimed ownership of things, and as we became more affluent consumers, that it all catered to us. That, I think, that created or instituted some sort of like cockiness about what the right thing is, because for so long it was catering only to us, that we assumed that that's the only way and the right way. So now that the market is actually shifting towards younger generations who do want to see more diversity, who do want to see more or different faces and different stories and different cultures mirrored in their pop culture,
right?
We're over here being like, but that's not the real version. That's not what I remember. But because they're just completely blinded or blinders on by the fact that it existed 100 years before you, it will exist 100 years after you. So chill the fuck out. So they're like, it's not all of me, but
no,
I am the face of this problem. And
yes,
I know it's fine,
and it's adorable face. I just wanted. Which is what makes it so annoying, is that because you are adorable, but
I'm sorry. All I can do is apologize for the. I won't even apologize because I didn't do anything.
You didn't.
I just know that I have colleagues and peers who are very much on that. Like, well, why are they making Iron Man a black girl? Like, 1, they're not making Iron Man a young black girl. 2, it's a whole new character that opens up all the things that you love for a bunch of other people.
Exactly.
Without shitting on what you loved. So just relax. Everything will be okay.
You better, JD. You better.
Yeah.
Cheers, everybody.
I'm on to my Allagash White.
I'm on to my second Sour Monkey.
Well, this is my 3rd refill of Long Island.
Here's the thing they don't tell you. A couple of things. Sex. You don't have much sex after you have a baby. And you also don't get to smoke your medicinal marijuana to go to sleep, because you're afraid, what if I'm high and something happens with the baby?
That's true.
It's the only way I get to sleep is I've got my medicinal card. And then now, nope. Hi, Randy. Randy says he's right, though, whatever that means.
We just had a little rant. We're good.
But I remember having sex after I had my daughter.
I mean, it's not a forever thing, isn't it? Just like you got to wait a couple weeks.
Yeah, no, it's not forever. It's she's healing up. What's next on the docket?
Next on the docket is so we just talked about that new news for Superman. Got into a little bit, however, in the vein of the other favorite holiday in February, Valentine's Day. Let's talk about couples in comics and popular fiction. Now, I think the first one we should talk about just had their new show debut. Superman and Lois. Clark Kent and Lois Lane. Yeah, what were you thinking?
I think I was going to say WandaVision.
Nah, man, they've been on for a while. This is a new show. Also, it was supposed to be like seamless from Superman into Superman.
Yeah, I knew where you were going.
Thanks, brother.
Oh, that backed up jizz got him loopy.
Well, I cry semen. When I was reading
Sweat it.
DAYTRIPPER, I was just ejaculating all over the book.
Why do you smell like a 12-year-old bedroom? Like, oh, don't worry.
Why you smell like socks?
Why do you smell like gym sock?
Oh
What's
my
happening
God.
right now?
You guys are monsters.
No, why you smell like Towley?
Why is everything so stiff?
All right.
It's
So-
crunchy.
Superman
Anyway.
and Lois premiered this week.
Oh, that's high pitched. Drinks.
Oh yeah, it is. I'm hearing an echo.
What are you eating?
Well, I'll tell you, Len.
Cheesecake.
My wife ordered some delicious cakes from a local, not a local bakery. They're like a Japanese bakery. They're called Baguette, Paris Baguette.
And the Japanese?
But I had them over in, not Japanese. I had them over in when I was overseas. I'm drunk. Anyway, it's a cheesecake.
No, you just got to throw that whole cheesecake in the middle.
Hold on.
There's a
Christopher
cheesecake.
Santos Good Night actually asked, are you guys done talking about Wanda and Superman? We haven't even started, bro.
We haven't even got on it, son.
Yeah.
We were waiting
We're
for your
about to.
punk ass to show up. Now we're going to talk about it.
There's the vegan cheesecakes too. Do you still have those in the shop? Go get them.
Oh, I got some chocolate cheese. Can I go get my chocolate cheesecake?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you know what? I'm going to say that tomorrow. I got a chocolate chip cookie. I'm eating my chocolate chip cookie. What's that box?
That's not the vegan cheesecake. That's the tiramisu. He doesn't know how to follow directions.
That's tiramisu. That's tiramisu. That looks good. I'm not a tiramisu guy though.
Try not to drop all that when you go home drunk. Oh,
I'm not a tiramisu guy, but that was good.
Oh, I wasn't either,
It's
but
good.
now I love them. They're my favorites. All right, so Superman and Lois is a new CW show, and it just premiered this week, and it is the next in a very long line of CW television shows. I had seen that character in the Supergirl show, those Superman and Lois, those two characters, and I thought that physically they did not seem to me to be what I would think that the version of the character in my head looks like. Who cares? Who gives a shit? I think that they emote and they express the characteristics of the characters much better than I think they look at the part. But like for me, the guy, I don't even know his name, Taylor something stuff.
Tyler Hoechlin.
Tyler Hoechlin. I don't think he looks a damn whit like Superman, but when he's on screen, he feels like Superman.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, and I thought this was a very interesting take on the character. It's a futuristic version of the character wherein he has two sons. He's got twins, and I thought that was a neat idea, especially since it was handled so poorly in the Superman Returns movie by Bryan Singer, where I felt like Kal-El felt a little bit of a stalker and an absentee father. This guy stuck around and raised his sons with Lois Lane. I thought was very cool.
So I haven't seen it. So this takes place in the future from what we saw him in Supergirl.
No, so in Supergirl and then in Crisis. So in Supergirl, he and Lois leave for a while because they want to start a family.
Right.
But then after Crisis, the stupid CW Crisis, he gets a phone call. It's not that great.
It's not that great. You know it.
He got a call. Like all they did was seed the idea that he has twins now. They got a call or something that was just like the twins are crazy. We need your help. Or the twins need to go to school. And he's like twins because he was not around for it. This is in present day, but we just presume that the twins are about to go into high school. What are they? 14? They're 14 years old. So they are on the precipice of puberty, and if they were going to have powers, they would manifest around now.
Okay.
So the story, the concept of the show itself is Superman, Clark trying to juggle superheroics and being and not being an absentee father to teenage boys. One boy is a Smallville style athlete, Jonathan. He's a football player. He's the man. He's very confident.
Still
his
sweet.
other son, not a jerk, just good at life, good at being a teenager, right?
Okay.
But actually very much like Jonathan in the comics. Like it's Jonathan Kent. His other son, Jordan, which was I think it's a call at Jor-El, which is a good that's pretty
like
slick.
Brian, our co-host Brian Lieb, he pointed that out. It might be like a playoff of Jor-El.
Well, I think that was the whole thing because like Jonathan is Jonathan Kent and Jordan.
Jonathan and Jordan. Yeah.
And then
Jordan,
people were saying, well, what about Lois' father?
Sam Lane is a piece of shit. But Jordan suffers from severe social anxiety. Like he takes meds. He has panic attacks so you've got the epitome of superhero trying to navigate teenage boys, one who has emotional special needs. The other one seems to be like a cakewalk. So seeing Superman as a father of teenagers, like he very easily communicates with Jonathan. Yeah. Jonathan's on his wavelength. It's pretty simple, but he has no idea how to talk to or connect with his other son. Yeah. And the show just kind of transpires from there. It's wonderful.
Reminds me a little bit of the Children in the Incredibles. You've got the sort of very peppy and happy
son.
What's his name?
Oh,
Dash.
Yeah.
Dash. And then you've got the invisible girl whose name I forget again.
Violet.
Yeah, she's basically the Jordan version, the Jordan character in this show.
Yeah, and we don't know if either of them have powers. We don't know. And like they're, the CW plot of it all is that they bring this family back to Smallville. That's not a huge surprise. But the idea of watching Superman juggle his day job as a superhero, but then also trying to bring back the family farm with his two sons who might need, a Jonathan Kent figure. It's a very, for a CW show, it's surprisingly mature. Agreed. And I don't mean like it's emotionally mature.
Yeah. It actually was in high contrast to me to I am not turning this into a Snyder bashing show. But so many people over the years have said, well, you don't like the Zack Snyder show or the Zack Snyder version of Superman because you don't like darker, more sophisticated, more adult versions of the character, et cetera, et cetera. To which I point to this and I go, he is a guy who is a father of two twins, one who has high anxiety problems. He doesn't know if either or both of them are going to gain powers. He keeps his secret identity from him. He loses his job at the Daily Planet and has to figure out what to do with his family. So they wind up going and buying the old farm, which now has a bunch of loans put onto it. So a lot of very adult, slightly darker motifs are going on with this Kal-El character without being dark and edgy and sort of like, isn't that crazy?
Right.
Yeah, there's two different ways to approach the story, right? So you've got the Zack Snyder way, which is a darker world requires a darker Superman. Yeah. Or adversely, and honestly too, Bendis did the same thing, a darker world actually needs a more altruistic Superman. Yes. Actually needs, the character itself should be immovable, whereas the world around him evolves or changes. Yeah. But his origins, his goals, his emotional center should be immovable. That's the whole point while he's Superman. So he's given all these real world problems without becoming just a grimacing, dark,
scowling
God. Yeah.
And it sounds to me like even putting the word darker is not really what it is. It sounds like this Superman is just more grounded. Yes. You know what I mean? It sounds like the show is more grounded in reality, which is not at all what the Zack Snyder Superman was. Which in and of itself is not necessarily a bad thing. I think at the end of the day, what the biggest failure of the Zack Snyder iteration of the DC comic books is the execution, not so much what they try to, the world they try to set up. It's just how they executed it. But it sounds interesting. But here's my thing, and this is my pushback. Because it's like you, JD. There's something about Tyler Hoechlin. No disrespect to the man, I've never seen him act in anything else, so I've only seen him as Superman.
Me too.
And so there's something about him that just doesn't ring as Superman to me. And it really came off like in stark reality to me in circling back to Crisis when Brandon Routh, who did not come off as Superman to me in Superman Returns, but in Crisis is the more or less what the hell is his name? Kingdom Come Superman looks and feels like Superman, so much so that when he looks and feels like Superman, and then they cut to a scene where they visit an older Tom Welling from Smallville as Clark Kent, and he looks and feels like Superman.
Drink, Noel.
You too, motherfucker. Get your drinks. That was like 2 of them, by the way.
Yeah, I already took one earlier.
So so he just really doesn't feel Superman to me, and his costume.
Oh,
they changed it. It's great now. I hate the little cookies and the shit with the big collar bullshit. No, it's literally just a suit and a bib. We're good. Like it's fine.
I like the 1938 original costume of Superman that they had him in the original the beginning of the show, the intro.
Dress. Yeah, he's got like a
dope
mob
as
version.
fuck.
Really?
So I see when I see pictures of Tyler Hoechlin, I see what you guys are saying, but every time he's in context in the story, oh no. Why are you talking about our sex life? Oh no. Why are you showing that? Yeah. I feel like you just double down in a shitty way. Anyway, I like in context of this show, he works so incredibly well. Like the idea of having a Superman that's not 7 feet tall, it almost makes it work more in the context of this show. Him looking like a normal human being with 5 o'clock shadow and glasses on when he's Clark Kent just works. Mm-hmm. I like the character is coming from a place of being very not damaged, just he's got problems. He's got other considerations. He's got other problems. He doesn't think he's a good dad. And this actor works incredibly well. Like I would not be as receptive to it if it was Brandon Routh, who looks like a mannequin, but like a really attractive stoic mannequin.
I feel you. Yeah, because you know
like it's not the same. And I would not think it would not work with Henry Cavill either, because as charming as Cavill is, he doesn't look like he can have 2 teenage boys. Like
the shame of Henry Cavill is that I like him, and I've liked him as an actor when I've seen him do other things. When I liked him in The Tudors, I liked him in The Man from Uncle. I liked him in the Mission Impossible movie. I like Henry Cavill. And I like his casting as Superman. I don't, and for the most part, I like Man of Steel. I just don't think Man of Steel plays into his strengths. I don't think he's been given the opportunity to really shine as Superman.
I mean, I think he got the job, or at least took the job, thinking that he was going to be Superman, and they spent 4 movies still learning to be Superman. So like the man is charming. He could do the smile and save the cat from a tree, but for 4 movies, he hasn't done a goddamn thing that's not like messianic. And I hate it. It's not him. He's not the problem. If the new Superman movie produced by J.J. Abrams, written by Ta-Nehisi Coates, is with Henry Cavill, I'll be fine with that.
Me too.
Like, I have no issues whatsoever with
I think
that
Cavill could have a long career as the Man of Steel if someone better writes the character.
There you go. And directs it.
Yes.
Yeah, it needs to like our. I mean, not to be hokey, but our daily lives needs a Superman of hope, not a Superman of dark grimacing torture.
Yeah.
Yeah, like less Creed, more the Beatles, maybe. I don't know.
And the thing is, when you say you need a Superman of hope, it doesn't mean that Superman has to be corny. It just
No,
means Superman has to be an inspirational character, I feel. Because the whole idea is that he inspires us, and the whole idea is that he also inspires other superheroes. You know, that's why, to me, another failing of Justice League, the movie, is that they all are talking about, oh my God, but we need Superman. We need Superman. That's not the Superman that they've seen.
No,
You know,
there was no there was no show. There was no show. It was only tell. So for 2 movies, we had a grimacing Superman who everyone feared and or worshipped, but you never saw him be a hopeful or charming character. And then for a whole movie, everyone's talking about how they need him because he's so hopeful and charming. And you're like, motherfucker, what movies did you see? Like,
now here, real quick, I'm sorry, but here's my question about this show, because from what I understand, and I am someone who I admitted on spoiler alert that I sat one day and binge Stargirl. And I like Stargirl. I admit how corny it was, but I liked it. I thought it was
so good.
It was delightful. It was fun, right? But my question is, does Stargirl, and I think even more to the point, Superman and Lois, because it premiered on CW, does this bode well for the future of that universe? Because Black Lightning and Supergirl, if they haven't already, are about to have their final seasons. I think Flash may be entering into its final season as well.
Yeah, that's like the center of the CW shows. I don't think that's going away for a bit.
I hope not.
I don't know, man. I don't know. That Green Arrow thing, God bless, didn't get picked up. So I'm like, what's happening here, dog? What's the future?
So I think the CW sounds like they're pretty hot on the Flash, and everyone talks. I think I remember reading a year or 2 ago, everyone talks about how like their contracts or the goal is at least 7. Like the secret.
Won't this be
the
7?
secret number. No, this is like 5. This is season 5.
No, this got to be at least season number 6. If it's not 7,
5.
Are you really?
Yeah, because JD had just recently watched 4. Was the one that was interrupted.
I'm in season 4 right now.
Yeah, that's the one that was interrupted because no, wait, 5 was interrupted. Either way, there's like 2 years left. I think there's like 2 seasons left.
Okay.
To get to 7, and then after that, it's just however like. I mean, the threshold for success on the CW is much lower than a normal network television show. Because that's why something like Supernatural lasted 15 seasons, because they only need like a fraction of sitcom numbers or because they have so many places that they sell their shows.
This is the 7th season. 7th season is set to premiere March 2nd, 2021.
Yeah.
Oof.
And
But
Flash season 8 is happening.
Yeah, it was renewed. It's already renewed for season 8.
Yeah.
What's happening so I thought I'm like 2 years in the past. What's happening in season 4 of The Flash, JD?
Season 4, right?
So
now
I have seen it.
I don't know what's going on, but
tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm right, JD. I'm going to guess.
okay.
Season 4, The Flash is ambivalent about his relationship with Iris.
Nope.
No, they're like married now.
Okay, it doesn't mean he's not ambivalent.
No, I mean like in 4.
Okay, all right. So he's married to Iris, and yet there's still something funky about their relationship, but a mysterious speed villain comes from his past who wants to kill him. Am I right or wrong?
None of those things are true.
They stopped with
he
speed
is
villains in the 3rd season.
Shut up!
Nope.
He is 100% ready to marry Iris. That leads us into the Earth X crossover, where they actually have their wedding, and of course it gets interrupted by Earth X, which is full of Nazis, the Nazi version.
Oh,
of
that's
the
right. You're
superheroes.
right.
So they are 100% committed. There's nothing wrong with their relationship. All they want to do is get married. And
wouldn't?
we've got the original Wells back. You know, it's not one of the crazy multiverse Wells. It's regular Wells, who I actually like the best. And the villain is not actually a speedster for the first time in this entire series so far. The first 3 were speedsters. This new one is the Thinker, which confused me at first because when he first showed up in the very first episode of season 4, I went, "Is that fucking Metron? Why is I guess Metron.
He looks
could
like
show up.
Metron.
He
With
looks
the-
like Metron. He's got like
Yeah.
the blue
Yeah.
Kirby, the blue Kirby design on a chair that it floats and shit. But it turns out he's just the Thinker. DeVoe is his name. So that's where he is. Now I understand the sarcasm of what you were going for, Len. The first 3 seasons are that exactly. This one is actually, maybe that's why it's affecting me a little bit differently, is because there isn't that ambivalence between the two of them. There isn't a speedster that he has to go up against, just an evil version of being fast. So yeah, it's actually been quite good. And I don't know what's happening, but the writing is snappier. I've laughed out loud in season 4. There are tiny little moments that the writers give the individual actors to do in between the bigger moments that just, it makes them feel like a family. It makes them feel like they're actually a bunch of friends who hang out and they're not just reading scripts. There's this nuance to the writing in season 4 that has not existed in seasons 1, 2, and 3. So I actually wound up, I think, texting the group and being like, I don't know what's going on in season 4, but this season is awesome.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, when you messaged that, I thought season 4 was what we had just watched or what had just like half aired. I'm like 2 years behind in my not in my viewing because I've seen all that, but in my impression of how time functions. Because I remember all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it was the first season where they didn't have a speedster, even though I really liked Zoom.
I love Zoom.
It was Reverse Flash was season 1, Zoom was season 2, season 3 was Savitar, and that was a little weird because Savitar was like Dark Berry. It was stupid.
Yeah,
but it picked right back up because they did have a and the Wells that's here is like Earth 2 Wells. He's just normal Wells. He's a dude. The show starts to go back into kind of like weird waves. And I thought you were talking about what now I know as season 6.
right.
Because it totally lost me in 6. Not because it was bad, just because it started to feel the ramp up to Crisis was great. So when you get towards the end of season 5 into season 6, the ramp up to Crisis was awesome because it literally had to deal with Barry knows there's a ticking clock on his life with his wife. Also too in season 5, they introduce a potential future version of their child.
Yeah.
So you have all these like things that he sees about the future and how wonderful it could be, but then also, that newspaper telling him you're about to die, and he so all of that season becomes, I need to do as much as humanly possible with you, my wife, but then also prepare for the end of the world, that we're going to stop because I'm going to die. So like all of that was great, but for some reason, as soon as Crisis was over, it lost creative steam with me. I started to more passively watch it, and it just was on in the background, and now I just don't watch it anymore.
Well, I remember JD saying
I
that.
don't know why. Like, it's not bad. It's just
that I didn't like Savitar so much that I didn't finish that season. And then after that, and every season since, I basically just watch the crossover. That's all I do. And then I just judge the crossover for what it is. Just like Christopher Goodnight, I thought the EarthX crossover was the best of the crossovers that I've seen so far.
Elseworlds wasn't that great.
Yeah, Elseworlds wasn't that great. It was kind of cool for the member berries of it to a degree, but at the end of the day, how it all coalesced, it just didn't do anything for the Crisis on Infinite Earth stuff. It didn't stick the landing for me. But that's pretty much all I watched. And then did I watch? No, I didn't watch the finale of Arrow because he had died in Crisis, and I was happy, so I was fine.
I have recently been trying out Batwoman, and I was actually legitimately excited for Batwoman. And I watched 4 episodes of the Ruby Rose Batwoman, and all of the naysayers who hated the show and say it's so bad and all that other stuff, I was like, they always say that stuff. And I got about 4 episodes in, and I got to say I gave up.
It's
Just,
yeah.
like halfway through, I went, nope,
Yeah.
I'm good. And I was like, you know what? All right, I'm going to try the new season, season 2, episode 1, where we have the new Batwoman. And I was like, all right, here we go. We got a new actress.
Okay, right.
We're going to check it out. It's going to be great. And I got about 5 minutes in, and I went, you know what? Never mind. I'm good.
Yeah, and I watched that
just not a
whole
good show.
first episode. Just like felt like let me give my sister a chance. Let me give her a chance. Let me give her a chance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was like,
Yeah.
and I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, okay, maybe after the commercial. After the commercial, he's going to be on.
It's gonna kick in. It's gonna be great.
It's kicking in. Yeah. Okay, we're half an hour in. All right, baby, you guys content. Let's go. Let's go.
Here we go.
Oh fuck. Oh fuck.
What a bummer.
Yeah.
And it was very easy to figure out what it is I didn't like about it, because I am enjoying season 4 of The Flash so much and there's so much humor and just family elements to it that this show takes itself so seriously. There is little to no humor in it whatsoever, that I just find that I really need those little humorous moments to attach emotionally to a group of characters.
Yeah.
And if everyone is just sour all the time and they're just super serious all the time, I go, that's good. I'm all right.
Well, you know what? I think that to a degree that it can work if everybody is kind of serious. But, and I hate to say this, your lead has to be able to pull it through. And I just don't feel she's a strong lead. Now, God bless her. This is her first time out at bat. But
Javicia Leslie.
Yeah, Javicia Leslie.
That is a fine looking Batwoman.
She's a beautiful looking woman. But I mean, so was Ruby Rose. But what Ruby Rose had going for her was she definitely had a look. So you would look at her and be like, okay, you her look says there's something there. And I don't know whether or not it was just a lack of acting or maybe she underplayed it a little. It just didn't come through ultimately. And I gave Batwoman more than a fair chance. But also what Batwoman had going for it was her opposite, played by her. I don't know the actress's name, but her sister, who was the villain. She was so good that I was like, all right, I'll still ride with this.
Alice.
Right, Alice. But as with the new one, they have to force the angst between them two feels so forced. It's not true, and it doesn't feel like a genuine. And now she's so over the top because everyone else is so not on her level. It really is just like, I'm like, yo, I can't do this. I can't do it. But swap that out with Stargirl, which is very much lighter, but the lead is good. She's charming. She gets it over. And you can tell this is her first time at bat. It's like leading the show, but there's still a confidence in her acting. And they lean on that in the writing. And it's just not evident in Batwoman. And I gave it 2 episodes. I was fair. I gave it 2 episodes.
You know what's neat? The woman who played Alice is Rachel Scarston. Which is neat about her is that she was actually in remember the really, really bad Birds of Prey TV show? Mm-hmm. She was in that.
Saint Saucy beat you to it. She was great, and she was from Birds of Prey series.
What'd I say?
He just beat you to it.
Okay. I thought maybe I misspoke. I am drunk.
No, he was just first.
Gotcha.
Just first.
Ruby Rose had so much hate for her before she even started.
That is true. That is true.
I watched the first 2 episodes of the Ruby Rose season. I did not try this new one yet. I didn't like the show in general. Like I read the Rucka series that started it. That this TV show was adapting. It was fucking phenomenal. The characters were spectacular. The mechanics of the story were great. So my expectations were very high. And then also too, Rucka's writing is so very detailed when it comes to fighting styles and equipment, and like he gets into first. Crispy Saucy just like jumped in first. Like that's a wonderful old forum thing that I just always thought was hilarious. Yeah,
That was pretty good, Chris.
Rucka gets to character after he does all of his homework and gets to and goes through all of the details of the weapons they would use. Like he finds character through detail, right?
Right.
So when I watched the show, the first episode especially, the way that Kate Kane just haphazardly comes across things and this and that, and also too like watching stuff like Arrow, some of the best stunt work on television. Like those fights were always spectacular. The weaponry was always spectacular. Watching Kate Kane just kind of like constantly body toss people, like it was such a lazy show.
Yeah.
In some of the like, it wasn't even just fun to watch because it seemed just put together, not like really. And that's not to say that people don't work hard on these shows. It's just seemed like they focused on the wrong thing in the wrong percentage, and it just wasn't fun to watch anymore.
Especially
I agree. I think all of the. I'm sorry, Len. All of the CW shows have at least one thing working in its favor. I think I agree with you. With Arrow, it's the choreography, right? With
Excellent
Flash,
action.
With the Flash, it's the familial aspects of it. With Supergirl, I think it's the main actress's charm gets them through.
Right.
And Batwoman doesn't have literally any of those elements to help pull me through sort of the negative aspects of the show. So all I really experience are the negative aspects.
And the thing I was going to say is that especially in the world of Batwoman, if you want to go to the source material, just like Noel said, you're going to go to Greg Rucka's Batwoman. You're going to go to J.H. Williams' Batwoman, which has a decidedly different feel than your average comic book. And I just finished rewatching all 3 seasons of Hannibal. Remember that series, Hannibal?
Oh yeah.
And
Go on.
the second you just said that, Noel, it made me think, oh my God, because Hannibal was produced by Brian Fuller.
Yep.
And if you could imagine the artistry of Hannibal put to the actual Batwoman character, then you would have the Batwoman Greg Rucka J.H. Williams comic books come to life on television, and it would have been beautiful. It would have worked so much better. She does not have to be this parkour athlete. It
wasn't even like
story.
good action though. It was literally just like body toss, hip toss, hip. Like it was like theater, like high school theater version of it. It was
stage fighting.
I was genuinely shocked at how poor it looked for what should have been a very high quality pilot episode of introducing this character of action, right? And my expectations were set by the other CW shows because whatever they lack in credibility or groundedness or sustainability, they always make up for it in either charm, humor, earnestness, or just production quality. The CW DC shows all have very high production quality for network or for cable television.
I ain't gonna say that.
They do though. Okay, so maybe not like the CG shows, but when it comes to Arrow, that was a very atmospheric show that was filmed incredibly well across the board. No, that was a high pitch. That's a drink.
That was him? I thought that was a literal baby.
That was him. That was
I said,
oh,
what the fuck is that? What's happening?
That's me. That's me.
What are you? How are you doing that?
With my mouth, I went.
Oh my God, that's so creepy.
That's 3 drinks now, because you had to ask.
It's empty now.
I'm opening the shop tomorrow. Everything will be okay.
Will you carry me home?
No. However, I'll step outside and make sure you make it past Main Street.
Perfect.
But you getting
Wait,
up the hill,
What's
that's up
left?
to you and your wife.
Oh no! Did I wait? No, I have one left.
Oh, I'll finish this and I'll grab another one. Hang on.
All right.
It'll be all right. Wait, there's only one left. Oh yeah, you drank a drink during dinner. I didn't give you enough. Ooh.
Yeah.
Easy on the new fathers. Congrats, by the way, Kevin Brown. Thank you very much.
Hi, Kevin Brown. Thank you. Easy on the new father, guys. Congrats, by the way. Thank you, Kevin Brown.
He's so drunk.
We're gonna get him
so
drunk. It's fine.
drunk.
So
How drunk am I? I'll tell you after I drink this last cider.
Off a cider.
So
Drunk off a cider.
No.
Look,
I know. You had the sour monkeys. I know.
I got him I got him the strong ciders. They're like 6% as opposed to like the normal 4.
I'm about to crack open and drink this hearty chicken corn chowder.
I dare you.
You gotta funnel that shit though. Like chicken corn chowder is totally only good down a funnel. So
hi, Christopher. OMG, poor JD is already losing it. Oh, my wife texted me. She's mad that I'm talking about our sex life.
JD, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Are you familiar with the television show what the fuck was it called? It was called what's the one with the Newlywed Game?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so Sushan is in the back, but she has written an answer to a question, and let's see if you can match her answer.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait.
What?
Nothing. I'm in.
Which famous couple from fiction would you say you and Sushan are most like?
Wally West and Linda Park
That's
from The Flash.
Not only is that aesthetically on the nose, it's also one of your favorite characters. So it just works.
Yeah.
Why do you say Wally West and Linda Park?
Well, Linda Park is a no nonsense, take no shit journalist, right? And Wally West is the sort of kind of goofy version of the Flash. And he's also a ginger, and Linda Parker is Asian. I am a ginger who is married to an Asian. So yeah, I think there's a lot of elements there that actually coincide with us.
Okay.
Speaking of fun Wally news, everyone pick up Infinite Frontier #0 on Wednesday or Tuesday. Oh, high pitch.
High pitch.
I thought it was when I said high pitch, not him.
Doesn't matter. I'm drinking now. Shut up.
So I read Infinite Frontier #0. It comes out this Wednesday. It's not actually out on your shelves yet.
Tuesday. Comes out Tuesday.
I'm sorry, Wednesday.
Tuesday.
I don't care what DC says. Fuck DC. It's Wednesday is new book day. So basically, Infinite Frontier is, now that the future state is over, the regular
Thank
DC
God.
universe. We have now returned you to our regularly scheduled DC universe. And what happened with Wonder Woman at the end of Death Metal is that she has gone on to become a higher being in the universe. And basically what you have here with Infinite Frontier is just a state of the union of the DC universe as it exists right now and where it's going to go moving forward. So basically we've got Diana, who is no longer just Wonder Woman. She is now, she has been sort of invited to be one of the, not a Celestial from Marvel, but the Quintessence. The Quintessence, which is funny because there's only 5 of them.
Oh, that's Quinn.
So, right, but then if she's added to it,
so then they would be the Centessence.
Then it's 6.
Look, Sam just brought me snacks. Anyway.
Oh, nice. So basically, this issue, Infinite Frontier, is Wonder Woman going through with the what's his name?
I'm chewing.
Who? I don't know. What?
You took the time to say I'm chewing, but not to say the name of the character.
Who? No,
the
Spectre.
Spectre. It's the Spectre.
I wanted to know. I wanted you to look. I'm more of a process guy. I wanted you to know why I wasn't answering, not necessarily what the answer would be.
That's the Spectre.
It's
And so-
podcast verite. Like
and they're
it's all
going-
in real time. Real time.
Wonder Woman is going with the Spectre, and she's going through all of the different elements of the DC universe. She hangs out with she takes a sort of Uatu the Watcher overview of what's going on with characters.
So what is
we've
this?
got
Kingdom
Batman-
Come? What is this?
All it
Kingdom
is,
Come?
look, all it is it's a narrative device of.
Yeah.
So we knew at the end of Death Metal she was going to ascend. Now she gets to see all the little pieces of the DC
Yeah.
See where
universe to
everything
set
else
up a
is,
bunch
right.
of little books. Like it's
Yeah, so-
it's DC has done this like 5,000 times, and every
Yeah.
time it works.
You've seen
Yeah.
it. You know what this is. So
Okay.
basically, it's her going
It's
through.
Rebirth.
She checks in on Gotham City with Batman. She checks in with Themyscira and who's going to take over as Wonder Woman. She checks in on Yara Flor and what's going on with that new character who is from the Future State series, who is fucking adorable, and I can't wait to see more from her. We have a very important Alan Scott moment, which we have sort of been hinted at many, many times, but we actually have a very big moment from Alan Scott coming out here, which is wonderful. The Teen Titans Academy, sort of some doubts are cast on John Kent and what his future may hold.
That was interesting.
That was interesting. I did not see that coming. Also, we have a new look at the Stargirl, which I'm very excited about because her TV show is so good that, of course, she should have her own series.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Say no more about what happens in the book.
Please.
And I'm telling you the characters that they go through.
Well,
So
we don't
they
need
take-
all of that.
They take
Wait,
a
hold
look
on.
at
I was-
Batman. They take a look at the Flash. They take a look at Green Lanterns, and they sort of set up what's going to be moving forward with the DC universe. And as much as I was kind of excited to read it, but I was also very aware that it probably wasn't going to do much for me other than set up the new
Status quo.
status quo. Thank you. There was a couple scenes in here where I was actually emotionally involved, and I felt a certain way about it, and I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend Infinite Frontier #0.
Okay, so before we jump back to my question, let me ask you this.
Yeah, I missed a question.
Oh, no, you answered the question, and
Oh.
it just reminded me of Infinite Frontier. That's all.
Isn't this Infinite Frontier #0? So is this the intro to a new miniseries, or is this please say
So-
just it? And now we're just going to get back to the comics.
Both, dude. Both.
Ah.
So there will be an Infinite Frontier #1 in July, but this is just a level set of what the Marvel, or sorry, of what the DC universe is right now.
Okay, so now let me get back to my question. So JD, your answer was Wally West and Linda Park. Now, let me just make sure, because the question, and maybe you didn't quite understand it in newlywed form, is what do you think Sushan will say
Oh,
is the couple of fiction that best represents the two of you?
I think we're on the same page on this. To be honest, I think that Sushan would also say Wally West and Linda Park. She has said to me several times, if we were going to go out on Halloween as a couple costume set, that we should go out as Wally the Flash and Linda Park, the
Reporter or
Reporter.
journalist.
Okay. Okay. So that's your answer.
That's my answer.
All right. So the actual answer from Sushan is
What?
and since you put her sex life out there, I will put
Ah.
a little bit of your life out there. She says, well, that's a tough one. Early in our relationship, amongst the many times we broke up, JD once told me I was Supergirl to his Spider-Man, but that's different universes.
Supergirl to her. I've never said that in my life.
Maybe she's drunk too. But then
She's
she
drunk.
said, but she lands on, I would say Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy.
Really?
Yes.
All right, I'll take it.
Yeah, but that means she doesn't make it.
Gwen Stacy gets killed.
She didn't say which Gwen Stacy. Maybe she's Spider Gwen.
Oh, well, then that means you're
Oh.
dead, dude. Hmm.
Oh, that's fine. I'd rather be me dead than her dead.
Is it weird that I agree with that? No, I'm sorry,
No,
what?
she's great. If anyone has a better chance of raising our son to be a decent human being, it is my wife.
It's your wife. I think we can all vote yes. on
Yeah,
that.
we all know. Oh,
That's awesome.
I don't care what the answer is. I love her. She's wonderful.
She is. She is.
And she
Oh,
gave
we
me a
lit-
beautiful baby boy.
We literally during dinner we're talking about how we both just
He said, "Baby
Yep.
boy."
failed upwards.
boy!
Oh shit! We both failed upwards into amazing marriages.
Yes.
Y'all did. How the fuck y'all level up like that?
Oh,
Dumb luck.
Brian, co-host of the
right place.
Spoiler Alert podcast, says, "Hey JD, happy birthday. Hope the show is going well. It's going as well as expected."
Not yes, not no. Just
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
How about this?
happening.
How about this? It's still going.
Yeah.
That's true. It's like 11. It's quarter after 11.
Hang on. Speaking of, oh, go ahead.
Christopher Goodnight says, "Okay, on to WandaVision."
Wait, no, I'm gonna divert one more time.
Okay.
Speaking of Wally West and Linda Park,
Yes.
I am more than half. I'm like 3/4, if not 85% through the first Jeff Johns Flash omnibus.
Tell the people.
It's wonderful.
Oh, well,
The
hold
first-
on. Tell the whole story.
Okay, I legitimately despised it for about 10 issues.
Yeah.
The first omnibus is the first like 30 to 35 issues of his run. I legitimately hated it. I hated it to the point of I was asking random people on the internet, like, please, does it get better? Everyone's been talking about how great this is for decades. Please tell me it gets better, because that first arc and a half were just absolute garbage, just straight garbage. But then after like Scott Collins comes on, I never liked Scott Collins before, but it's just the art was so airy, everything was so wonderful. It really made me like, so far I've slowly fallen in love with Wally West and Linda Park. So everyone talking about, like, I only ever up until now I only ever read Rebirth on for, and I'm sorry, I mean Flash Rebirth on, as in
Yes.
Jeff Johns brought Barry Allen back on. So I never
He who
really
shall
had
not
a really.
be named.
Also too, that should be noted. He Who Shall Not Be Named actually does a one shot within this first omnibus called Iron Heights.
Yeah.
It's even a good version of He Who Shall Not Be Named that isn't overly drawn and grotesque. It's just a well done book. But no, this is the first time I've experienced. While you guys have been talking about how Wally West is like your Flash for so long, I feel like now I actually understand. He's a wonderful Flash, and I very much am enjoying it. I'm almost done with it.
That makes me
Yeah.
really happy to hear, because I was legitimately disappointed when Noel had first picked up the Flash by Jeff Johns Omnibus Volume 1 and was saying how much he hated it. It's been so long since I've actually experienced that run. But it was entirely possible to me that, like, you know, when a new writer takes over a character's book, generally there are some growing pains and you don't really get into like the real meat of a good long run. Let's say even The Hulk by Peter David didn't really hit a stride for a while, and the first couple of issues are a bit strenuous to get through. I was a little nervous that, like, oh man, did I lead Noel down the wrong path here, and my memory is just really bad, and I felt legitimately bad about it, and I was like, I hope it picks up. And then I want to say, like, a couple days later, you were like, here we go, we're great, everything's awesome.
Yeah, so I was just like, so Brian, the other co-host of the show, convinced me to give Lucifer a shot. So no matter what my feelings were in the moment, I was dedicated to reading at least a chapter a night. So over the course of a month, I will have finished the first big chunk of the book. I slowly fell in love with that, and now I'm a fan. And it was the same with this. Even though I wasn't enjoying that first chunk, it was like, I'm dedicated to reading at least a fucking chapter a night, one issue a night. I need to understand why everyone likes this so much. And it just, after Iron Heights, it literally just clicked. It was like everyone after, I mean, at that point, it was like over 12 issues. So like after that first year on the book, everyone just really clicked. And it was like, oh my God, this, I get it. I straight up get it. There's something to be said for sticking with a book, but there's also something to be said for just bowing out, like if you're not enjoying it anymore. So if I was reading this during in monthlies, I might have bowed out very early, whereas collected in a large edition, like, okay, you kind of roll with the growing pains to begin with. So I would, anybody that's ever going to try it or had thought to try it, I would highly suggest just fucking power through the first chunk of it up until you get to Iron Heights. That's all. Sorry. WandaVision.
Great.
That's a show.
Great. WandaVision. So we've watched all of the episodes of WandaVision. Noel and I have. Len has not watched the very latest WandaVision episode.
Episode
which I
8,
think,
right?
which I heard deals more with her origin, and you learn more
Yes.
about Agatha.
Yes.
Well, I mean, you learn more about Agatha, but it really is a Wanda through the years episode.
Which is fine. Go ahead and spoil it.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
I
Okay.
can't. I don't think that there is very, very much in this episode, Len, that will shock you.
Right.
It's very. I think a lot of it is catching a lot of other people up on what has been happening in the show that longtime readers of comic books sort of understood from the get-go.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
it's one of those episodes that just kind of recaps all of the threads before executing on them. So like it's the penultimate episode.
Right.
Episode 9 is the end, and this was 8. So it really was just kind of bringing threads together. So we revisited MCU Wanda's history. You know, like she had told this in Age of Ultron. She told the story of a Stark bomb hitting her home and her brother and her just staring at the red dot, waiting for it to go off, but it was faulty. Like moments like, or after Age of Ultron, when she decides to be an Avenger and just lives at the compound with no friends. Like you revisit all these moments that just kind of fill in her backstory.
Right. Right.
And then layer on the Agatha stuff on top of it. And it's like, oh, it was very, I was very skeptical that they were going to go full magic with the MCU, because even Doctor Strange wasn't full magic.
True.
It was more interdimensional.
Yeah, it kind of mixed a little bit of the science.
Right.
and
Okay.
stuff
Yeah.
in
So
it.
even Doctor Strange was, our version of magic is there's a universe that exists on the other side of us, and we pull power from it.
Exactly.
So it was still had but when it comes to like witches and dark books and spells, that's full
Salem.
magic. Yeah, that's full magic. And this show just was like, fuck you, we're going full magic. And I think that's super fascinating. I think it's pretty great.
Yeah. I think it's adding a whole nother layer to the onion of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
And I think it is going to relate to the version of magic that we were introduced to in Doctor Strange. Like, I think that they're connected, but it was just like how Thor deals with, like the Thor movies deal with deities, with gods. It's just shit. It's just shit you don't understand yet. We're aliens that you don't understand yet, and you thought we were gods.
Right.
I think magic in the Doctor Strange version and in this version are kind of the same thing, just like different sides of the coin of the same thing. And it's super fascinating. But the episode 8 really just dealt with Agatha is super fascinated with Wanda and has no fucking idea how she works.
Agatha is great.
Catherine
Yeah.
Hahn.
Catherine Hahn is just wonderful in this series.
Awesome.
I think everyone is doing A+ work, but Catherine Hahn is sort of a revelation to me in the past 2 years, because she did a show called Mrs. Fletcher, which just really opened my eyes to her acting acumen. I think she is really, really overlooked a lot of the time, and she is having a ball with this show. I think everything that she does in here is just wonderful. It's a lot of fun, and I really enjoy watching her.
And I like the reimagining of Agatha Harkness. If you're a longtime comic book reader, you know that character. But for a longtime comic book reader, that character has always been an old woman. You see, like, you know, you're wondering, like, her and Aunt May must drink the same drink, because why are they still walking around
Yeah.
like still alive? You know,
They've been 80 for the last 40 years.
exactly. You know, but the reimagining of her, I really enjoy. I am looking forward to watching the episode.
Yeah,
Joel Bradshaw says that the last episode felt like a really good retcon issue. It filled in the gaps of what we know, but added to the MCU. And it also revealed a couple of things that they told us in this series, WandaVision, but weren't quite true. So, yeah.
It was so like this show is existing on two planes. It's the world that Wanda creates in the real world, and this episode, I think I see some people online kind of call it a filler episode, just kind of explaining things.
Even an Optimus Douche, previous
That's right.
Pop alumni.
That's right. Rob actually also
Rob
thought
Hayden.
that it was a fill-in issue or a fill-in episode. But I actually thought it was a little bit more than that. Like this whole series, you've been introduced to the ordinary world of Wanda's perception. And then you've also, in the last couple of episodes, been introduced to the actual ordinary world of what's happening outside of the Hex. This episode actually shows you some truths about both sides of the of reality, like her reality, the real truth of it, but then also what actually happened on the other side of the Hex that brought all of this on. It was really, really fascinating.
I don't want to spoil. I'm not going to spoil anything with this comment, but I was slightly disappointed with a revelation about a character in this show that is not quite what I thought it was going to be. And I felt like the actual revelation of what the character was slightly less interesting, extremely less interesting than what I think a lot of us had assumed regarding the fact that it's leading into the multiverse of Doctor Strange and the multiverse of madness.
I have no idea what you're referring to, so I really want to spoil it. Glenn?
Go ahead. It's fine.
There is another explanation for Quicksilver.
Oh, I heard.
yeah.
I did read about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't read what the explanation was, but I did read that there was like some explanation as
That didn't
to
even register.
why Quicksilver is the Quicksilver from. Even though I read that it's explained in this or at least spoken about in this episode, right? But I had read a speculation about why Quicksilver is the Quicksilver from the 20th Century X-Men movie universe, as opposed to the Marvel universe Quicksilver, and the whole idea of Wanda not being able to the not being able to work with like dead matter or something like that.
It's the reason why there's two levels to this: the creators of the show versus in story. So the creators of the show, the reason as to why they used the 20th Century Fox version of Pietro, I have no idea.
Oh, I was so excited! I thought you were going to tell me the reason.
Oh, I can tell you I can tell you that reason.
The story reasons, though, are it is a fake version of Pietro because Agatha can't reanimate dead matter that exists in fucking another country. Sure. But
not Agatha, Wanda.
No, actually,
Agatha. Okay.
Yeah. So I still, like, speculation-wise, I actually still think that it is because it is a multiverse version of the character that she's able to manifest.
Okay.
It's not happenstance or just a wink that this is. It's not happenstance or just a wink, but it's how she's able to manifest the person in the spell because it is a version that exists in other planes of existence, right? Not necessarily, I just created somebody that kind of looked like somebody from another movie. Like, I think it exists on both levels.
Yeah.
But they kind of explain it in a little bit in the show. It's just like, so one of the things that I enjoyed the most, and while I was watching it with my wife, I actually paused and I was like, "Are you paying attention?" Because there is a scene where Agatha is saying how difficult all of these spells are.
Yeah.
It's difficult to make somebody believe something. It's difficult to create, like, to reconfigure matter. It's difficult to, and you're fucking doing this without even knowing what you're doing.
Yeah, and that's coming
So
from
who are you?
a witch who is already, they show her at the beginning when she's being burned or attempted to be burned, and even she does not realize the extent of her own powers. So the fact that she's more powerful than she knows, but then comes across a witch who is even more powerful than that, is just an endless sea of exploration for Agatha Harkness.
Yeah, Agatha, like, what was cool about this is that, so we're going full spoilers. I don't give a shit.
I guess so.
Len, you're watching it.
I'm fine. Try it.
What's cool about this is, yes, Wanda created this reality.
Yeah.
The only reason why Agatha's there is because she felt all of this magic happening. And she was like, what the fuck is happening? I'm coming. So she literally inserted herself into these elaborate and crazy spells because she wanted to know what the hell was going on. And now she has Wanda and she's like, how are you doing this? And Wanda has no idea how she's doing it, which is this wonderful kind of, the last couple of episodes started to set up Wanda as the antagonist of the story, just a tortured antagonist. And she still is, but there are still other things that she doesn't understand to the point where she's not irredeemable in all of this. And it's incredibly interesting. And one of the things that I thought was even more cool was how they're introducing comic book lore into this. Like, the very beginning with the witches, when the head witch or the main witch was trying to stop Agatha, how power manifested around her crown. And then showing Wanda's origin, which we had never seen before, her meeting with the Mind Stone and what that kind of brought out. You kind of see a crown. And they're slowly in the MCU, in the beautiful MCU way, introducing the idea of a Scarlet Witch and of chaos magic and how the character looks in the comics subtly into the story as it exists. I'm like, this is fucking awesome. This is so good. Straight awesome.
This is, you know what? To be honest, this is everything that I wanted the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to be when they first announced this show, and how the things that happened in my head and how the possibilities of how it might tie into the main universe of the MCU films. And then what I got was not that. This is exactly what I was hoping for way back when. I think they're finally making some adjustments to making the TV and the movies sort of really interact with each other in a seamless and interesting and unmissable kind of way. Like, this is the kind of thing you don't miss.
Well, yeah. Now, one, they're learning. Because let's be honest, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. came in the early days of this universe kind of coalescing, and then it was their attempt to try and build the universe out into television, and then they had to realize, oh man, you don't want to spoil certain things for the story and stuff like that. And also, what you have to understand is that in their learning, they now have enough characters where they can set characters off, like literally off in like a pocket of their own world to do their own things, which is what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. over time became. It became something that was just kind of like happening just left of the Marvel universe. You know what I mean? And the other thing that this show does have going forward, and let's be honest, it's operating in the vacuum of what's going on right now. It's the only game in town. That's true. The big Marvel thing out there. This is what Iron Man was when it first hit, and everybody was like, oh shit, like this is what we got. You know what I mean, ladies and gentlemen? So it's operating in that sphere as well, and it's got that going for it. And fortunately for it, it's not dropping the ball. You know, because it could have been very easy to drop the ball because it was on Disney. For all the Avenger love that you may have for them, Wanda and Vision weren't the most popular Avengers that we had, and they weren't even necessarily the second tier most popular Avengers that we had. You know what I mean? So for them to still pick up that ball and be able to run with it like they did, job well done.
Anthony D says, why is Wanda's power called magic? Her power comes from the Mind Stone. I never consider it magic like Doctor Strange magic. My friend Anthony Drago, that is not the case, which is revealed in this particular episode because we find out that Wanda did have magic, and it was a sort of magic that if it was not expressed in a certain way, or if it was like a muscle was not worked out in the right way, would disappear. But because of Wanda's interaction with the Mind Stone, that is what amplified it. So she did have magic because that's what kept the Tony Stark bomb from going off for 2 days. She didn't realize it at the time. She thought it was a faulty bomb. But it's explained that her hex magic is what kept it from going off. So she was a magical character. It wasn't until she come in contact with the Mind Stone when she was hanging out with
Agatha.
No.
Oh, Hydra.
No. Hydra. That it actually amplified her powers. So what the Mind Stone did was amplify what she already had. Yeah,
I'm sorry. Her and Agatha were watching that as a memory. Her being tested on by Hydra with the Mind Stone. Yeah, so it's all happenstance. Now I was listening while I stepped away for a second. But Len, you had mentioned how this is now working. Honestly, the biggest factor in how this is working better than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did, and honestly too, even how the Netflix show did, is because now it's all under Feige.
Well, that's true too. Yeah.
Like before, it was a bunch of different divisions within Marvel controlling a bunch of different mediums. So you had like Jeff Loeb and his team doing all the TV shows, and they kind of wanted to play around with the MCU, but they weren't privy to all the other stuff. Like so, the movies would happen, and the shows would just kind of react. The Netflix shows were just wanted to be in the same universe and kind of were, but they made sure that they stayed in a bubble and didn't reflect anything. Now Feige is in charge of all of the stories and all of the TV and movies. So he's able to explicitly reflect one onto the other.
Yeah.
So now WandaVision's able to explicitly reflect what's going to happen in new movies as well as what happened in last movies. So in a weird way, this is all a little bit more, it's a lot more cohesive and it's a lot more reactionary in a, bigger story kind of way than the TV shows that did their best to do, and sometimes much, much better than not. But now it really is all of the same mind. Like it's all one story.
Right.
Which is awesome. It's incredibly, I mean, we're lucky as balls, right?
Right.
Like to be fans of this shit now is just.
But the other lesson that they learned from S.H.I.E.L.D., from the Netflix shows, is less is more.
Yeah,
it's 9 episodes. It easily could. They easily could have said well, let's round it out to 10. You know what I mean? But they know they wrote the story. They broke it out, and they said 9. Let's go.
Yeah, and honestly, Falcon and Winter Soldier is 6.
Right.
It's 6 1-hour episodes. So they're letting the story control the format as opposed to the format dictating the story. But again, that was based off of television models 5 years ago.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Like a network television show is like, well, you need 24 episodes. That's just those are the rules. And then the Netflix deals where all of our TV shows are on the British model, so you need 13 episodes. That's the rules.
Right.
So now
or the cable model. I think like the cable model, like HBO model was like 10 or 12.
Yeah, like 10 to 13 episodes, right?
Right.
But even towards the end of the Netflix deal, they were leaning more into we don't need it to be 13. So like Defenders itself was only like 6?
6 or 7 or something like that.
Even the second season of Iron Fist, which I will fight for. The second season of Iron Fist was actually 10 times better than the first because it was a completely different creative staff.
It was better. It wasn't good, but it was better.
I liked it.
God bless you.
I have a real soft spot for Danny Rand. I actually think he's a great character that no one knows what to do with.
Yeah,
no one knows what to do with.
I had a soft spot for Danny Rand a long time ago, and that soft spot has since hardened up and calloused. I'm fine.
Okay, so where is it? It's over there. One of my whales is the Iron Fist omnibus by Brubaker and Fraction and David Aja. It's one of the best stories. Like, it brought me back into comics after decades of away. Like, I have a soft spot for Danny Rand. That show only like 10% scratched that itch, and it was enough for me. So I was like, okay.
Okay. Yep. We're about to lose J-Day, and it is going on. And it's going on midnight.
I have a son who doesn't sleep, and he won't let me sleep either.
Baby talk.
Baby talk.
Oh shit!
Welcome to Baby Talk. I drank.
Oh,
Let's see. A Victory Sour Monkey, a Allagash White, a Pearl Unfiltered Craft Cider Down East.
it's pear. By the way, that's just a line.
Pear was delicious. There's an Allagash Fine Acre, and last but not least, the original blend Down East.
All right, if we're doing this, I drank
Fuck.
2 sour monkeys.
How are
that's
you alive?
I'm a fat kid. I have a higher tolerance. One you like that? One Down East cider to like cleanse the palate, and now I am drinking Evil Genius Stacy's Mom, which is a 6% IPA with citrus.
Oh.
All I've been drinking is my pitcher of Long Island iced tea.
So I gotta let's talk about pitchers. So this is the last time I'm gonna drink for a month at least. I need to
great. A month from now, we will have a new show.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll be our Arbor Day extravaganza.
Isn't March also St. Patrick's Day?
Sure.
It'll be our
Details,
Green Arbor
whatever.
extravaganza.
I'm going to
Patrick Arbor Day.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna not drink for the next month or so. So I wanted to get a variety today, and be ready for the next one.
JD is so fucking.
Yeah, he's fun.
Look at JD.
You guys, I love you.
He's like, can we shut this shit down?
Shut the shit down on these clowns.
Hang on, that sounded a little high pitched. One drink.
I'm out of juice. I'm out of the feel good juice. I drank all of the feel good juice.
Hey,
Straight
here's
out of
something.
the titty of life.
Here's something disgusting I used to do as a kid. So when I used to go to fast food, I would go to McDonald's like with my parents, and I would be eating like my quarter pounder, and I'd just be wolfing down a quarter pounder, and then I would take my last bite, and as I'm chewing it and swallowing it, I'm realizing, oh my God, there's no more quarter pounder. So I would bring a little back up into my mouth so that I could taste the quarter pounder again.
I would. Oh, first, wait. 2 things. One, that's a high pitch. We're gonna drink.
I would.
And 2, you're beautiful.
What the fuck did you just say?
I would. Get back up, and then I'd chew it all over again.
Wait, but I want to wait. Hold on. What's your gag reflex now? Because it sounds like you were practicing for so many years.
Oh my God.
It's not that bad.
I got skills, bro.
I mean, that does sound like a kid thing.
It was a kid thing.
I'm not gonna lie.
I didn't
That
do
sounds
it.
like a kid thing.
Yeah, as a kid, you know.
It sounds like I want another chicken nugget.
And then thankfully I had a twin sister, so so we would be racing, and so she would be like, "Oh, you ate all your quarter pounder?" I was like, "No, I didn't." Show it to her.
Kevin Brown, listener Kevin Brown said it best when he commented ... What the shit?
Oh.
Oh, I valued our previous friendship, Len. I'm glad that we had it while we had it. It meant a lot to me at the time.
So many things have been water under the bridge, but you regurgitating and re-eating your food was the line. That's the friendship line.
Wait a minute. If in the wild, this is what this is what birds do. Haven't you ever seen Planet Earth?
Oh, my cheeks hurt.
That's so much high pitch. I have to finish this now.
Kevin Brown. Thank you for that. Oh shit.
I mean, do you want to watch the Kanata video again? Hey, I gotta tell. I do gotta tell you the when we like I'm the one with cameos, so I made sure that we got it done.
Yeah.
When that video came in and I got the notification, Sam and I watched it, and we were just like, "This is so good."
Yeah. He's good, right, Jeff Kanata?
The limerick is so good.
It's so good. Listen, anybody who doesn't listen to Jeff Kanata, you should go to subscribe to all of his things. Jeff Kanata does the Slash Film podcast, which is
Dungeon
really great.
Run.
The Dungeon Run, which is a sort of a D&D podcast that he's the DM for, as well as DLC. He does a video game podcast, which is called DLC. He is the guy who got me to even buy a microphone and a webcam and start a podcast all these years ago, 10 years ago, with Spoiler Alert, Cult Pop, Pop-Tarts podcast. He's the guy who got me to do it. He's wonderful. And the thing that I like about him so much is that his heart is on his goddamn sleeve. And the things that he is appreciative of, he just goes for it ham. He just really goes onto it, and I love it.
So part of it was he actually sent the limerick, so I have to reread it for anybody that didn't hear it before. Okay. Having kids gives you humility. You need Spider-Man's agility. As well it should, because with fatherhood comes great responsibility.
It's so goddamn good.
That's fucking.
Yo, you got to get that framed and put up in your.
This needs to be on Kai's wall. Or something, or just like this is what you repeat to yourself when he's crying in the middle of the night.
Now, okay, so the backstory
on his back.
The backstory to this
on his back.
That Jeff Kanata on the Slash Filmcast has created a running gag where every single time, every episode that they review a movie, he goes, "Well, Dave, I guess you could say my feelings of this movie are best summed up in the form of a limerick." And so he actually went on to Cameo, which is a program, an app where you can pay celebrities to interact with, or send videos to your friends for special occasions.
Mm-hmm.
And he will write you a specific limerick for whatever it is that you're talking about.
Yeah. So for my wedding, JD got Jeff Kanata to read or to create or write a limerick for me getting married.
Yeah.
Which a man in omnibus.
Yeah, because I know that Noel loved omnibuses, so he sort of worded it around loving omnibuses and being married to an actual omnibus.
So this is the thing now where we're going to anytime we want to express our actual feelings with each other, we're going to get Jeff Kanata to do it for us.
And it's great for him because he gets $100 per
every time
per limerick. So good for him. But, all right, guys, do we have anything else you want to say before I stumble the fuck home and fall asleep on top of my son, who is 2 weeks old?
Talk about the baby.
Next to yourself.
I have a baby. Did you guys know that I have a baby? His name is Kai Parker Holden. And yes, I named him Parker after Peter Parker because I'm a fucking nerd. That's it.
I can't claim that kind of credit. If I'm ever blessed with a child, it's probably not going to have a nerd name like that.
His middle name's going to be Omnibus.
Yeah, you know what?
It's Noel Collected Edition.
Yeah.
My daughter's name is Olivia, and it's just because I love the name Olivia. However, my grandson's name is Avery because my daughter named her after Tex Avery.
Oh, that's great.
Nice,
that's a
nice.
good pull. That's a really
That's
good
real
pull.
good.
Like, we need to find these geek names that are actually more like historical ones or institutional names. Like Tex Avery is not like super well known, but it's well known enough. Like, that's great.
When you raise your daughter right, it's well known. That's how I raised my daughter.
Deal.
That's right.
Action Figure Expert says, you guys take it easy. Catch you later. Be safe. Thank you, Action Figure Expert. And Kevin Brown says, I named my son after Isaiah Bradley.
Oh,
now,
shit.
Who knows who Isaiah Bradley is? Fucking double points if you know.
And does that mean that he names his son Truth?
Ooh, shit.
Do I get points for double points for that? Because
Now you're white.
Oh.
You're not allowed to guess. You're white.
Fuck your privilege.
Yeah. All right, guys. We love you so much. Thank you for hanging out with us. I'm Johnny Destructo. With me this week is
very privileged Noel.
yeah, and also
Hey, this is Len. Hey, real quick, for the 5 of y'all still watching, check it out. The Black Tribbles sometime this week. We're going to be launching our Kickstarter for our world's longest podcast.
that's right.
Show, which is happening in April. We're running a Kickstarter, so look for that. Look for that. Okay.
Also, don't forget to look for that.
Hang on, I'll do the banners for the normal stuff. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Be sure to hit the bell notification. We always go live on Sunday mornings at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Normally, tomorrow we're gonna sleep it out, but we'll be talking about the comics that come out that week.
Yeah.
No? Yes. No. Maybe
Every
yeah.
Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. we do a live stream
Except
where we
tomorrow.
review week's comics.
Except
for
tomorrow.
tomorrow morning because I'm drunk as fuck.
But hey, come out and say hello at JD's Johnny Destructo's Hero Complex on 4327 Main Street.
Yeah.
Was it the right address? I always fuck up
That's
the address.
4327 Main Street, Johnny Destructo's Hero Complex in Philadelphia, PA. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We love you so much. This has been a fucking blasty blast. Special thanks to Jeff Kanata and to my brothers, Len, Noel, and Brian. I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. And we will talk at you later. Peace.
Last high pitch.